face the fallout all alone. 'Cause that pine box only seats one, and there's no one coming with when I go. So go on, talk that big talk, baby, point that bed toward the stands, as if those lofty expectations ever turn out as planned. How I bet my bottom dollar, thinking that this could last, and I keep holding you forever, love, just to wind up holding the bag. So take your best shot, baby, you can make your demands, as encouraged by your neighbors with their heads in the sand. All I know is you planned your exit after planting your flag, instead of promising forever. So tell me, how'd I wind up holding all this unresolved resentment toward the cards in my hand? Did I lack the basic knowledge it could wind up this grand? If you stayed and shook me down, I'd give you all that I am. But you sold me on forever, darling, just to leave me holding the bag. It says a lot that I got in at the time. Yeah, when you pulled the rug, I had no safety net in place to offset the drop. I kept hanging on, patiently waiting so long that by the time the ultimatums came, the clothesline cats I came with were gone. But go on, take your best shot, baby, you can make your demands, as encouraged by your neighbors
I'm continually trying to find the right music that's just kind of chill in the background, but also copyright free. And as much as I love Kevin MacLeod, I really do. Big ups to Kevin MacLeod for putting out so much music for creators to use. But holy shit, the names don't tell you anything about what they're gonna sound like. This is just circus music. How's this one? We're gonna do it, chat. We're gonna find a chill background track that's reliable. That's a little too funky, but I kinda dig it. I haven't earned this. Alright, let's see what else. This one's called Iron Bacon. Why? Too much! Too much! We'll find one, and then we'll get into the meme stocks, I promise. This feels like I'm in the Chow Garden lobby. Oh, that's a cool one, Lady Ann. Are the meme stock people freaking out about SBF going to jail? No. They consider, if anything, they're upset that, like, because they view everyone in finance as Sam Bankman-Fried. They want to be Sam Bankman-Fried. So they're more upset that, like, Ken Griffith isn't getting arrested, even though, as far as we know, he hasn't done anything illegal. Why is it either just, I just want something just in the background? What's like a normal... It's not the vibe I'm looking for, but it's the vibe I found. That bass line sounds like farts. Oh my god, it's still too... Just something... Just chill. This is nicer than I am. I'm not that nice. There we go. Well, that's fine. It's just a little... Alright, okay, we're in an elevator. That's fine. I'll be in an elevator. It worked for Aerosmith, it'll work for me. Anyway. How's everyone doing? Welcome to another stream. Sorry for that little extra intro all about, the generic intro music. Let me actually make sure I save this. Edit, no. Other, all bookmarks, So how's it going? Good, I hope. I'm excited to do a stream today that isn't bound by, you know, like we've been doing the reality show thing, and we did the movie thing for Subathon rewards, which we still have Subathon rewards coming up. Next Wednesday, I believe, is going to be the Quantum Grammar Seminar, and next Friday is Anime Day, so mark your calendars if you want to be there for those things. But today we're just doing kind of a classic normal Hannah stream where I look at weirdos on the internet and talk about them and the things they believe. So let's do that, shall we? We're going to look at the BBBY people, of course, but I also wanted to look at some of the GameStop people because, you know, GameStop not doing great these days either. It's still heavily overpriced. However, it is going down. Let me show you the price. Stock. So it's down to $13.87, which is still way higher than it should be. Like, it should really probably be down to, like, $2, maybe $3 max, but even that's heavily inflated. Let's say $3. I'll be generous, and right now it's still at $13. So it's too much. I was in a GameStop a while back. Wasn't worth it. Wasn't worth it. I go into GameStops from time to time because I do cover this stuff, and I don't want to be ignorant, you know. I'm not going to say the last time I was in a GameStop was, 15 years ago, no, I go into GameStop from time to time. I'm usually the only one there. Tell us why it's heavily overpriced. Why should the price be $2 or $3? Sure. I don't know if you're a GME person or what, but I will absolutely explain that. Because they are a failing, outdated business model. Their NFT marketplace has failed, as have all NFTs, and no one is interested in the game launcher that they're going to do. No one outside of the meme stock community is even aware that Player is a thing that's going to happen, and they're not interested in it. They already got annoyed when a second big game launcher got announced. You think they want a third one? Anyway. So let's go into it. Let's watch some GME stuff. How's Morant's been? Morant's has got his channel demonetized, apparently, which is a shame for him. But either way.
Hey guys, so welcome back to Morant's Rants. Plenty of good information, a little bit of motivation, a whole lot of truth.
You go to GameStop to buy Steam gift cards? Sure, you can usually get them at supermarkets, though, too. Like, the stores I go to, the supermarkets I go to have gift card sections, and Steam cards are there, and Nintendo eShop cards, as well as Xbox Marketplace cards and PlayStation Marketplace cards. Again, I'm not saying no one ever goes into GameStop. I'm saying that their business model is not sustainable only off the back of selling gift cards and, used games, especially going forward as game consoles seem to be getting rid of physical media, which is sad. I agree with that. I don't even disagree. As you can see, I love movies and I love physical movies. I collect Blu-rays and DVDs and 4K Blu-rays. So I absolutely love physical media. But that doesn't really matter. That's not what the market is doing. People don't give a shit about physical media. Even I, who love physical movies, pretty much download all my games. Most game sales are already digital. And that trend isn't going to reverse unless the global internet is crippled for some reason. Yeah, GameStop wants to make a launcher and they want to have it have like Web3 NFT integration, I think, which doesn't really matter because the Epic Game Store already does that. And all the NFT games are already garbage no one likes, except for speculative NFT bros.
Financial advice. It's a midnight stock talk, but
What if the launcher never comes out? Should the price be $1? I don't think that's how it works. No, I don't know what it would be if it weren't for the meme stock people. Again, that would be determined by the market if it were more rational. But it doesn't matter. The Player thing isn't going to be materially relevant to their bottom line, just like their NFT store.
I really don't want to talk about stock. I really want to talk about the difficulties of holding the stock and or of living.
It's really difficult to hold a stock, guys. He had to push a button, and then that's all he had to do. He just had to abstain from pushing more buttons to sell it.
With all of these options.
Instead, he just bleeds value over time like a true diamond hands.
Around you. I have a friend of mine right now dealing with some obstacles.
How do the apes even find this stream? Some of them probably through Twitter. They fight with me on Twitter sometimes, and I post there.
I have my brother, of course, he's done with his saga. And then
GameStop has $1.2 billion in cash, which amounts to $4 per share. Where is this $2 to $3 coming from? Uber tendies, do you think that that's how stock price works? Do you think that the stock price is determined by liquid assets on hand divided by the number of shares? That's not how that works. Listen to me. As they continue to bleed money, because their business model is unsustainable, that's going to be chipped away at. They have a really long runway. But the thing is, if they want to become profitable with the cash on hand that they have, then they basically need to start an entirely new business. Like, GameStop, as a video game pawn shop and Funko Pop retailer, is not a sustainable business model. So if they want to become sustainable, they basically have to become an entirely different company. And starting a game launcher in a partnership with someone else, it's not even like it's proprietary, I don't think. I believe it's in partnership with another company. It's not going to do it. They need to become an entirely different business. And if they do, great. I'm happy for employees who work there, if so. But so far, all we've seen is Ryan Cohen come in and try unsuccessfully to start an NFT marketplace, and now he's just cutting. Now that he's become the CEO, he's cutting hours, he's cutting benefits to employees, he's making everything worse. He has no talent, he has no idea what he's doing, he got lucky with Chewy, and now he thinks he's magic and can just make companies make money. And you all believe him because you're obsessed with this myth that becoming rich means you're smart. Anyway, Dr. Gamble says, please no more launchers. I hate splitting my physical library across launchers, or rather, my library across launchers. Procagam, thank you for gifting a sub to Uber Tendies. And Dr. Gamble says, Epic got away with it because they got lots of money and were able to make exclusivities with popular titles. Yep.
Anyone else out there that over the last couple of weeks it's been really rough? You know, I remember just...
What's GameStop's biggest revenue stream? Probably used games and consoles, which is my entire point, is that market's dying? That market is dying.
2 weeks ago I was getting death threats. They're going to kill me, kill my family, whatever it may be. And I know everyone else is dealing with something. And you ask yourself, like, how steadfast can you be? Like, how are you actually going to...
They have positive 12-month cash flow. Can I see that? I know the last quarter I thought they made like a $23 million profit or something like that. But most quarters they haven't historically. If they've cut to the point now where they're making a small profit, that's awesome. They could, I guess, sustain that for a while. As the market continues to decline, that revenue is going to shrink back into the negative. But regardless, the share price is still too high for a company that's only making like under $100 million a year. Like, companies are supposed to be profitable. Do you get that? Like, at a higher level, there's no justifying this valuation. Like, this is post-split, too. So this is, like, equivalent to $50 a share pre-split? It's absurd. The main revenue stream, more than 60%, comes from hardware sales. That's not good for them either. Is it used hardware or new hardware? Because that's not good either, because I don't think you can sustain that considering people buy things from the internet most of the time now. Consoles aren't the kind of thing you need to go pick up physically. Cohen is a corporate Grim Reaper.
Just hang on to what your beliefs are. And there's a story out there, the book of...
If it's new hardware, they're fucked even worse. That's not good. So they have to sustain themselves off of new hardware, which is going to spike every 4 to 8 years depending on console cycles, and even then it's going to be dependent on if people want to buy them there versus on Amazon or at literally any other store like Walmart or big box store that sells electronics. Logarth says, praise Cthulhu, I caught a Hannah stream at the beginning.
Book of Job, I referred to it, but I only say this because I want to remind people...
Did I say the internet is killing all retail? Because it kind of feels like you're putting words in my mouth. No, it's killing category killers in a lot of cases. GameStop being a good example, Bed Bath & Beyond being another.
What it can mean for you. You know, the theory is that even though in this book, in this statement, what was said is, and it's a very common phrase that people say,
Procagam, thanks for gifting us up.
But they don't know where it really comes from. They say, the Lord giveth and the Lord taketh. And that's just referring as fast as you get something, it can be taken away. And you should be thankful for what you have around you. But by giving you so much and taking so much from you, it's all about your reaction to the loss, right? So to give you an example, Job...
Pretty sure he's depressed about the fact that the stock price is down a lot.
In the Bible.
I guess I would ask GME holders in the chat, why do you think the price has gone down since the squeeze? Since 2021, at its peak, why do you think the price has slowly but surely continued to go down over time? What is the primary reason?
Had children.
GameStop sells more than 5 billion. You say they're done because of e-commerce, but nobody loves Amazon either. No one loves any company, and if you do, you're a psycho. You shouldn't love any company. It's a goddamn corporate entity that exists to sell you shit. But people fucking hate GameStop. You're acting as though people love GameStop. Outside of like the bubble of meme stock investors, GameStop has a terrible reputation, both amongst its employees and people who shop there. GameStop does not have some sort of quality of being a customer darling that everyone loves, and you can talk as much as you want about Ryan Cohen wants customers to be delighted and all that bullshit. It's corporate pap. It means nothing. The shopping experience is not a positive one. All you want to do is get in, get out, not be sold a bunch of shit, and have the place run properly. And it's not. It is not a positive experience. It's easier to order things online. And even if you don't, why GameStop? Why not any other store that sells game consoles? Because there's a decent number of them. H-Beard says, I don't know. I think Microsoft is totally affable.
And he had, I believe it was 10 children. 7 boys, 3 girls. I don't really remember the numbers. But I haven't read this in forever, and I haven't been told this in forever. So my point is this. All of his children died. And it was something that he had to deal with.
What the we're talking about a video game pawn shop. Why are we talking about this?
Mentally. And it'll mess with you.
I'm sorry, is he comparing the price of GameStop going down to someone losing their children?
Your fate, it'll mess with your belief system. But the whole time, he stayed true to who he was and what he believed in. And he never faulted anyone.
That makes me uncomfortable.
He never cast blame on anyone. So, that just means a lot. It means a lot to stay within that conviction of what your belief system is. And I use those today. The parallels are the same for anything I go through.
I would not personally use someone else's terrible tragedy of losing their children in order to motivate me in my life, but maybe that's just me.
Right now, I would tell you I haven't had the perfect life. We've all had a crazy run at some point.
Are we going to the moon today? Yes, we are going to the moon.
You know,
Unfortunately, we don't get to set foot. We gotta be in the rover, like what's his face?
sometimes,
Michael Collins.
you get
Say his name. His name was Michael Collins. His name was Michael Collins.
in a really rough spot. You don't know how you're going to make it out. But if you believe in something and you believe that you'll overcome it, you will. You will. And it's more than just belief, right? It's getting out there and doing what it takes to up.
Do you understand the difference? Are we going to have to go over the difference between revenue and profit again? I did this with the Bed Bath & Beyond people, and you know how that turned out. You could have $10 quadrillion in revenue. Doesn't matter if you're not profitable. You can create a giant unprofitable monstrosity that has a huge cash flow. It doesn't matter if it's not profitable, or at least not largely profitable. Big monstrosities like that, they're hard to turn. It's like a big ship. The bigger a company is, the harder it is to change direction. So I think smartly, one of the only things that Ryan Cohen is doing that I think is smart is downsizing the company. They've retracted from a lot of their international partnerships and international locations. That's pretty much what they have to do right now just to survive. They're going to continue to probably burn through the cash on hand. Maybe they'll make an acquisition. I can't imagine what they'll do and what the acquisition would be to be a smart one to continue the company. But as of right now, it seems like the only strategy moving forward is to just cut expenses. Just cut wherever you can, with no regard for how it's going to impact the day-to-day of the business, the customer service, the employees' well-being and morale. So he's just going to cut, and the company's going to get worse and worse and worse. And you're all the while going to be bewildered why the price is going down.
Hold your end of the bargain. So I would tell you guys, for those of you that are dealing with difficult situations, the ones who reach out to me in DMs, tell me what's going down, I'll just tell you, be extremely steadfast in your belief.
I'm pretty disgusted, honestly, that he felt the need to compare a lowered stock price to dead children, so that's not great. Not super great.
Hey guys, and good evening. So I'm at the drive-thru right now, but I got this idea to talk to you guys about, like, Ryan Cohen, GameStop, and the way the leadership is navigating right now. I read the tweet.
poorly.
By Larry Chang. If you guys didn't read it, he said, you have to do all these steps to become profitable and to grow. And it's basically everything. He outlined basically everything GameStop's doing. It was phenomenal. It really was. But the different aspect that I want people to remember and understand is this. These guys are young. These guys are 30-something, right? Well, Ryan is, at least. And even myself, like I'm 40, and I'll just give you the example. I was 38 when I started YouTube. And I've always known it's something I wanted to do. I just didn't know how to go about it and how I wanted to start it, how I wanted to get the channel going and some information out, whatever I was going to choose to talk about, right? But
Oh my goodness. Okay, Dragon Ape says exactly, it doesn't matter if it's not profitable. Wall Street's been investing for a decade in businesses that are not profitable, like Tesla and etc. I feel like in a list like that, this isn't a criticism. I'm not trying to ad hom. This is a constructive feedback. Usually you would want to say like Tesla and blank, etc. You wouldn't say Tesla and etc. You'd say Tesla, etc. or Tesla and something, etc. Also, I also think Tesla is incredibly overvalued and have for years and years and years. You can go back to my first streams and see me making fun of Tesla. Like, literally one of my first streams ever was just shitting on Tesla and Elon Musk. So, weird thing to bring up. My focus on profitability doesn't remove the fact that a company does billions in revenue. Again, irrelevant if they're not profitable. If everyone hates GameStop, why they would do 0 in revenue and be closed by now? That's not really how businesses work. Like, once you're the size of something like GameStop, when you have a lot of locations, people are gonna come in. Like, I'm not saying that they are impossible to make money currently. You could continue to scale back and scale back and scale back and make it run very austere, let's say. You could theoretically at least break even, maybe. But that's not what we're talking about. We didn't even start this talking about whether or not the company can theoretically break even. We started talking about the price of the stock. The price of this stock right now is on the level of a company that's making like hundreds of millions of dollars a year regularly, at least, if not more, billions. But it's not. It's based entirely off the fact that you guys just buy it and hold it. It's like an artificial price, and that's weird to even say because the market, any legal move in the game, nothing's really artificial in that sense, but it's not worth what it is right now in terms of the actual fundamentals of the company. It's inflated because of the sentiment that you guys pass around amongst each other and hold on to the stock.
the reason why I did it now in my life is because
do I have any stocks that I consider valued fairly or undervalued so we can criticize your picks? Nah, I'm good. And also, a company that's valued at $4 billion should be making $1 billion a year. You understand that companies make money more than 1 year? So yes, usually the entire valuation of a company is more than they might make in a year because you don't want a company that only lasts a year. But also, just because the overall market cap of something might be $4 billion doesn't mean that that's a reasonable price. The valuation as it stands for meme stocks are overvalued. That's kind of the point. That's a big part of it. Like, if you tried to sell GameStop today, like, let's say you wanted to take it private and someone wanted to buy it. No one's buying it for that much money. It's just not happening.
I really felt that if I didn't do it, then I wouldn't be able to explain it to myself, like, hey, you didn't really even get...
It feels like you're very into black and white thinking here, too, where you're like, they literally have revenue, so why aren't they closed if no one likes them? Listen, no one likes them. That doesn't mean that no one goes there. I don't like Walmart. I've shopped there before. Jesus. I've gotten into a discussion with fucking trolls on the internet. What am I doing?
Give it a shot.
They're not even trolls. They just disagree with me.
Like, you can start anything late. I didn't get to my career at Costco till I was 30. Granted, I've been promoted extremely fast, but a lot of that is because I had all this life experience.
Yeah, that's a good point. This is why I don't like talking to meme stock people, because they don't see the forest for the trees and they drag them down with you. This has happened in the conversation with the PP people too. They get enamored with details and entirely miss the point of the stock market in the first place.
Experience before I ever got there. But for anyone that's out there chasing dreams and ideas like Ryan is right now, or anyone else that wants to do whatever they want to love or their passion, don't be afraid to to strike out and fail. I could do this right now and be terrible at it for the next 5-10 years and make a good run, and I get to 50 and then I'm like, you know what, it just wasn't what I wanted it to be.
I'll say this for Morantz, at least he has like a stable, normal job, so when this all blows up, I mean, it already kind of is. He's lost money, I'm sure, on this. But either way, at least he has like an actual job that he can fall back on, so that's nice.
It wasn't what I thought it would be, but at least I can tell myself that I gave it a shot, that I tried. The biggest issue that you have right now with investing and
I'm not going to tell you what his real job is.
individual,
he has one.
it's giving you that quick, clip and that quick, headline is GameStop's not profitable. It's a terrible company. Ryan Cohen's a failure. Like, you shouldn't buy it. Get away. It's over. It's done. But it's like, what are they doing? They're giving you a window of like 2 years, 3 years, and they're trying to tell you this is what it is. I'm going to give myself a lifetime to make this failure if it's a failure. But I don't think it is, right? I really don't think it is. I think everyone's with the same wavelength on this to say, you know what? It's transition.
He just said he works at Costco. Yes, he works at Costco. You're right. I called you a troll. You're not a troll. You're just disagreeing with me. Reduction to absurdity argument. Reductio ad absurdum is also known as a fallacy, I think. Not that it fucking matters, but... Let me put it this way. I'm taking a very hardline stance against you, and I was hyperbolic because I get very upset with meme stock people because of the poor history I've had with the PP people. Fair enough. I will come at you from a place of assuming you are being good faith, because so far you haven't done anything like they have, so I apologize. I don't think GameStop has a good reputation. Of course people go there. Parents go there. I'm sure kids go there. But I think amongst a large demographic of adult gamers, like myself, a lot of people in my audience, and if you go on gaming spaces on the internet, forums and stuff, and GameStop gets brought up, typically the response is people lamenting about how their experiences are poor, how they feel bad for the employees, because they always seem like they're depressed and they're the only one in the store. They don't get paid well. They get treated like crap. They don't like the stores themselves. They don't like how it's all Funko Pop crap. These are what I have seen as someone who plays video games, as someone who considers herself like very into gaming in general. That's the sentiment I see around GameStop generally, outside of meme stock communities.
Pivoting, and it's going to go great. It just takes time. It takes quarters and quarters and quarters.
Dillis Filler, thanks for 6 months.
Of the year for it to go through, for you to see what's really happening here. So for everyone out there just bashing you immediately for going after your dream.
I mean, the PP show people are paid by their audience. Are you implying that you think that, like, PP and all those folks are being paid by someone else? Or do you just mean that they have perverse incentives because they're sort of grifting, in my opinion? Fenekagami says, GameStop violated COVID restrictions and put their employees in danger, for example. Yes, I remember that. They pretended that they were, what was the word? Like a necessary business or something. They are paid by multiple parties. They are grifters. See, that's what concerns me. Like, do you think that they're being paid by hedge funds to besmirch GME? Like, that's the vibe I'm getting. Like, do you think that PP is secretly working for Ken Griffin? Or something? Because that's where the line gets crossed to, like, cuckoo land. You always take it to a conspiratorial place, and that's my concern.
Whatever you're attempting to do, just know that you could be terrible at something in your 20s for years, for a decade. And then you could start something new if you needed to. But at least you gave it a shot, right? At least you tried for your dream. That was my biggest thing on that. I'm doing it myself. I'm trying my hardest. and I'm going to keep going for it. So all the bumps in the roads, all the, we didn't even have a stellar month this month. October's over. Today,
Hedge funds could also pay them. Why not? Because that wouldn't make any sense and would also be illegal. Why would they do that? That doesn't benefit anyone. Dragon Ape says, you're the one that brought it up. Who do you think would pay them? And who would have the most to gain? Again, the fact that you are framing this as if you are in a secret war with hedge funds, that's not what's happening. There are no short sellers, quote unquote, on the other end of your trades that are like, ha 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 ha, we need to crash GameStop. That's not how this works. Hedge funds, by their very nature, take all sorts of positions so that even if they lose out on some, they win on others. There are no hedge funds that are only short selling. There's no such thing as only short sellers. It's just weird that you guys always frame it that way, like Citadel only sells short. Like, no, they're a hedge fund. The next day they have a new conspiracy that he is.
Today's the last day of October, and I'm going to tell you guys something that was probably the worst month I've had on the channel in over a year, basically. We had 90 subscribers the whole month. Basically zero.
Yeah, because you're giving people bad advice, I would argue.
Zero. Considering the previous month we had 700, right? So I was like,
it's almost like a bunch of people realized, oh shit, we're bag holders.
Man,
oh
no
growth. Not again.
Tough. You're putting out content, you're putting out information. Does anyone want to watch? Does anyone even care? But it's what I'm going for. It's what I'm trying to build. I'm trying to build a platform for myself to where, so where the people can come and get information and understand their investments, and make it entertaining. Do your best. But I just thought I could speak on this so that people understand my mindset when I look at Ryan or when I look at Larry and I look at GameStop. So you know what? Let me see how this really goes for me, because I have a lifetime. 40 years is a lifetime. And certainly to younger people, like if you're in your 20s right now and you're trying out GameStop or you tried out AMC, Bed Bath & Beyond, whatever it is, I'm not going to fault you for like making a mistake. You listened to some idiots and they told you it was all wrong, or they told you it was going to be great and it wasn't. You're in your 20s right now. Life's not over. You can rinse and repeat, wash it off, and get back out there.
Yeah, but also if you go online and for over a year tell people to hold on to a GameStop stock because you think the company is suddenly going to become one of the most highly valued companies ever, is that not maybe irresponsible on your part, and maybe you should feel a little culpable for people losing money? I'd feel gross if I'd done that.
But to judge...
Do I think hedge funds don't commit market manipulation? It's a broad brush that you're painting with. I am aware that illegal action happens. I do not believe that hedge funds are manipulating short selling to specifically destroy functional companies. No, because that doesn't make sense as a money-making strategy. And the state of GameStop is not due to market manipulation, other than from you fine folks. But don't worry, I know you're all individual investors just doing your own DD. You're definitely not a group of people trying to manipulate the price of GameStop.
Judge people based off of 2 and 3 years. Yes, I'm judging Bed Bath & Beyond for the simple fact that it's gone. I'm judging AMC for the fact of what's happening.
That's a good point too. Hedge funds aren't a monolith. They compete against each other. If a hedge fund did something like what you're describing, if you all secretly had moon tickets like you all think, like just buying, DRSing, and holding GameStop was going to make you rich, then other hedge funds and large market funds would do it, because they're not all a big, like, cabal that are colluding in a room together. They're competing against each other. So problems with the system are systemic as opposed to generally being the fault of individual actors. People are individually bad actors within a system, and you can argue that they're all pulled towards committing bad acts due to the perverse incentive structure, but to say that they're all, like, colluding would require evidence, not vibes.
Happened over the last 3 years, but that's not what's happened with GameStop, and that's not what's happening with Ryan Cohen. So I'll keep painting the right picture, give out the correct info, and I just let you know that this is something I've been working for a long time. But I'm only 2.5 years in. I'm not even, a decade in. So I've been doing things for a long time the right way, and I'll continue to do that. And that's outside of GameStop. That's everything. So not going to deter me, not going to get to me. But I just want to say thanks to everyone that's, supporting the channel, supporting the content. And even on Halloween, it's going through my mind.
Okay, but Dragon Ape, if there were shorts trying to drive the price down, and there were longs who had the opposite feeling, then they would, like, equal out in some way, wouldn't you think? Like, it seems like you all have this preconception that short selling happens to perfectly healthy companies and it destroys them. That's not how things work. Like, look at, for instance, Herbalife. Famously, there was, I forget his name, but the activist investor who took a large short position against Herbalife. And Herbalife, outright, in my opinion, is a scam. Herbalife's a multi-level marketing thing that I think is bullshit. Bill Ackerman, thank you. That is his name. That company's still going strong, even though, again, I think it's bullshit. Like, you can't take a company that's making a bunch of money and destroy it simply through short selling. You're looking at buzzards picking at a corpse, and you're assuming that the buzzards killed them. Short sellers aren't in things for the long term, typically. Short selling are usually short-term bets that are made about companies that are probably not doing too good. Usually. People don't look at a company doing amazing, that stock price is reasonable based on their valuation, and go, I should short that. Why? You need a good reason, and usually the reason is because people think that there's some news coming that's going to be bad for it, or that the company's not doing very well. Fenekagami says, hedge funds fuck poor people in the government, not businesses. Most of their market manipulation is through the banks. See 2008.
And so, good luck, guys, on all your dreams and everything you want to grind out for. Last part about this is this,
Short sellers have shorted GameStop for almost a decade. Again, the problem is you're treating it as a monolith. Short sellers are not one block of people. It is a ton of individuals and organizations coming in and out of short plays. No one is holding a short position for 10 years because the interest on that is going to exceed any potential profit that you make from it. Like, you have to do these relatively shortly, because the longer you hold a short position, as I'm sure you know, the more it, costs. It costs money.
Anyone who's ever been married before or gone through divorce, and, these decisions you make to walk away from the people that you love, it can be very challenging at times. And with your investments, the same thing. I know that people that are invested into AMC or Mullen Automotive, and I see a lot of similarities there where they're like, you know what? This is what I have. This is what I committed myself to. You can walk away. You can fade away if you had to. But just know, life is long just as much as it is short.
Jesus Christ.
Good evening, guys, and welcome back to Morant's Rants. Plenty of good information, a little bit of motivation, a whole lot of truth, no financial advice. It's going to be a longer format video. At night right now, because I work and I don't have time to come to you guys and do the live streams.
Current short interest in GameStop is around 24%. That's not a lot, considering the height was 140. If short interest right now is at 24%, how do you expect MOAS to happen? Do you believe in MOAS? I guess maybe you don't. Maybe you believe in the fundamentals of the company. If so, ruh-roh.
I'll be doing this longer format video. Might be 20, might be 40 minutes, might be an hour. I don't know, but I got a lot to get out there. Right now, this is going to be Connect the Dots part 47, 48, somewhere in that range. I'll title it later when I'm done tonight, but let's go ahead and go into it. We're going to talk about a lot of things. Today, the headline was GameStop's 401k, the update for the employees themselves. So I'll give you some insight on that. Additionally, Larry Cheng put out a great tweet. I hope people watched it, and I'll dive into that as well. And then, of course, we'll look at the stock and the price movement.
The biggest short squeeze in history before GameStop happened with a 13% short interest. Cool. Cool beans. Why do you think that this situation is like that situation?
That it was or that it wasn't. So no edits, no cuts, guys. Even if I have to pull on my ear here and I'm start itching, let's look at it. Let's go. Welcome back to Morant's Rants. Plenty of good information, a little bit of motivation, a whole lot of truth.
And also, that wouldn't be MOAS. MOAS is like the conspiracy that it's gonna go like infinite or $1 million or whatever.
No financial advice.
Have you guys brought the bar down to just like making a little money now?
So here
Also, can I ask, Dragon Ape, what's your price average?
is what everyone wants to talk about. And GameStop is making a series of important changes to their benefits program that become effective January 1st, 2024. These changes include changes in the premiums you pay for your health coverage. In addition, GameStop will no longer provide the following employee.
How is Marantz even going to justify this? Basically, if you don't know, GameStop employees who already are underpaid and get treated like shit, their benefits are getting cut. Ryan Cohen decided to cut their goddamn benefits. Man of the people, Ryan Cohen, has decided to cut the benefits for the company.
Funded benefit coverages, which is basic life, accidental death, and dismemberment, short-term disability, long-term disability, employer match of the health savings account, and employee match of 401k. Now, as you guys read all
Why do you think it's at a discount?
this, it tells you they're still offering plenty of other benefits, which were awesome. But yes, the big one is employer match 401k, taken away, some basic life, things like that. But those are all like trivial. So what you can look at this, and only because I implement the 401k for my company as far as the employees that I work with, that's what I actually do. So I understand the benefits of it and the pros and cons, I should tell you. And so a lot of people are looking at this and say this is a red flag for GameStop and their earnings, or someone
It is?
was trying to relate to they're just not profitable and they're trying to make cuts everywhere they can. Yes, I want to put it very clear to everyone. GameStop, they are cutting up everything they've done. They're renegotiating everything, and they should. And I'll tell you why they should.
It's on a 2-year downtrend because it's shorted every single day? Have you considered it's shorted regularly because it's an overpriced stock?
Towards the end of this, after we go through this, but what are the employees really losing? Not much, because when I looked at it, I saw
Best Buy mattress firm IBM cut 401k match benefits. Best Buy has 90k employees. Yeah, Best Buy's probably not doing great either. A lot of retail stores aren't. Also, Mattress Firm is also a retail store? Don't know about IBM. Don't know their situation. But yeah, that's not a good sign when that happens to any company. It's like you think I am only interested or attacking GameStop. It is so weird how you're focusing on this. You're literally doing whataboutism. Yes, that's also probably not indicative of a good, healthy thing going on at that company. Correct?
all here, and I read through it all. This is the whole pamphlet here. And it said they're still going to offer them, medical, obviously, and they have to pay a couple of premiums themselves. But this is no different. I actually worked for a couple of corporations. First corporation I ever worked for was called Gannett, other than the United States Army, right? But I worked for Gannett, in which they're the parent company of Arizona Republic, USA Today, Curbuilder.com at the time, and then, of course, the Desert Sun, where I live, the newspaper. But they had plenty of benefit programs, and then they cut them as well, and they went ahead and laid off everybody. This is during 2008, 2009 timeframe. But right now, GameStop is...
We'll find out soon what the fair price is. Why do you assume right now is not a fair price? Like, how would you determine, like, in your head, right now, how would you know what a fair price is? Like, what is your criteria for that? Is it vibes-based, or do you have a specific criteria?
is just telling you that they have some increases and they have some changes. Now, I work for Costco right now, and Costco does do a 20% match, i.e. they match 100% up to 20%. Then they also give you other...
I've heard Costco's quite good to their employees for a company their size. So good for Costco.
Other incentives of things that you can buy and you pay for and you come out of pocket. But it's always changing. What's the biggest change for me at Costco?
There are multiple ways to calculate the fair price of a stock. You can do fundamental analysis or technical analysis or a mix of both. You sidestepped the question. I didn't ask how one might do this. I asked what is your criteria specifically? What do you think a fair price is based on current factors?
Working there was the bonus program. So they actually have what they call an extra hour program where
IBM is cutting the 401k matching and replacing it with a type of pension. Oh, isn't that better? Isn't that usually better?
They actually pay you an additional $2. It's called an extra check. They pay you $2 for every hour you work throughout the year. And then they give you a bonus check every 6 months for those $2 of every hour worked. It comes out to around $3,000 bonus. Everyone gets one every half year, right? And so it was amazing. Like when I first got hired, they're like, here's where you're going to start, here's where you're going to end. But just know that if you work 8,000 hours, you're going to have a bonus. And you'll start getting bonuses. And the bonuses now are like $5,000, $6,000 every 6 months. So you're like,
Cool.
okay, this is a great program. Well, do you know what happened to the employees moving forward? They don't get that same bonus program. They took it away.
That sucks.
Or they told them, no, it's not 8 hours anymore. Now it's 13 hours. Now you got to work there for 10 years. Now you got to work there for 9 years, 8 years, because a lot of people aren't full-time when they initially get there. So, I mean, how much time do you have to put in before you start getting bonuses now? Are those Costco employees disgruntled? Are they mad about something that they didn't know they weren't getting? No.
They should be, yes. Yep. If you know about it, I would be, yep.
Oh. The original ones that are
Anytime that the, business relationship between employer and employees takes something away from the employees, yes, they should be mad.
grandfathered in the other program, hey,
That's literally the point. You have to, collectively be mad about things to get things done.
benefits are there to keep them intact. Right now, well, if you're going to build retention within the company, you're going to build a culture. It started out last year when they paid the executives.
If you look at the technicals of the stock market, the options market, the short interest in the stock that is locked by retail with DRS and insiders, the fact that the shorts can't get access to sufficient shares to short it more, it's obvious the price is oversold and the lowest point it can go. What is your price target? What is your price target for GameStop? What do you think it would be? What do you think the fair price is? Specifically, I am looking for a number, because you're saying a whole lot of nothing, and I'm concerned it's because you're embarrassed to say what the real number you think is.
The store leaders, the RSUs. That was a big thing, and I know the stock price is down today, but if you work hard and you get your store up and running and you see minimal profits all the way through, those incremental profits are going to turn into a big snowball for the company. And it can, in turn, help you make a lot of
90% of stocks are priced higher than GameStop on the same or similar fundamentals. Whoo boy, that requires a big ol' citation.
money based off of the stock movement that is. The stock's undervalued as it is right now.
No, not that I know. He's talking about Costco because he works at Costco.
But these are not things that deter people from getting the jobs and keeping the jobs. They still have to pay their families, right? They still have to pay for the expenses they have. That way, if they tell you, you know what, we're not going to match your 401k. I know plenty of plumbers, construction guys, a lot of people that don't even contribute to 401k.
His argument is literally just, they're desperate enough that they need the job anyway, so don't worry about it. It's not going to affect the number of employees. Wow. You just don't give a fuck, do ya?
401ks or don't have a plan. You're an entry-level retail employee. Let's all calm down before we throw up our hands and say this is terrible for the employees. It's not that. They're letting you know they want to be healthy, but they want to renegotiate their deal. Now, I know their deal. And if you don't know their deal, I'll show it to you here. They have their 401k plan partnered up with Principal Financial. Okay?
We've looked at enough Morants. Can we get to the BBBY people now, maybe? Actually, let's do one more. Let's do one more GME thing, and we'll move on to the PP folks.
Talking about pre-stock split prices. I want everyone to listen up. Shut the up. Okay, listen up. You have to remember that there was a stock split with GameStop. What does that mean? That means that at one point, for every one share you had, you got 4 extra ones, which divided the price. So let's say it's $100, right? It means that every share now that you have is valued at $25, okay? So, because it got split by 4. Understand math? Okay, cool. So this right here, price of $14.89 looks pretty low, right? Again,
I mean, not to me.
and psychological
Too high to me, but you know, whatever.
Short hedge fund manipulation tactic to drain us out and try to push us down to this super low level.
No one is in a secret war with you. Dan Olson said this pretty well in his recent documentary about this whole situation. they're shadowboxing the random noise of the market and losing. They imagine themselves to be in this, like, epic battle with short sellers, but there's just not someone on the other end that feels the same way.
Of morale. Understandable. However, multiply it by 4, it's basically $60 a share. Pre-split. And when we go off pre-split
Do you think that Amazon is a comparable company to GameStop?
prices, pre-split, what did the stock go to? 480, right? Divided by 4. That means that literally to hit the peak of what happened during the short sneeze in January
That wasn't even a short thing. That was literally just a bunch of people buying in because of memes.
2021, that they made a movie about dumb money. This price only has to go to $120. And that's like the peak of the squeeze with every
First, the stock will hit 25, then 35, then 50, and 100 onwards. All bets are off. Nobody knows what the max price will reach. It won't be infinite, obviously. Oh. I hope you stick around. I do. This is going to be interesting.
everyone on social media buzzing, everything going on crazy. Real.
I promise as long as you continue to be respectful to me, I'll be as respectful to you as possible. I think that's fair. I don't agree with you, and I find it a little amusing, but I'm sure you find me amusing, to some extent. Either way, while you hang around, soon we'll be on the bed bath stuff and you can laugh at the pee-pee people with us, so that's good.
Realistically, with like another solid push, you're looking at what, like 25, 30? You know? 30 times 4. Wait, that's not right.
Oh, he just pulled a number. He just said 30. It's half that. It's a half of 30 right now.
25. Yeah, like a good push times 4. Like, there's not a lot of wiggle room here. So that being said, there is plenty of room to grow here, in my opinion. There's plenty of room to grow. There's plenty of room for us to go down as well. You know, if we're at $59, like GameStop, I think Ryan Cohen, DFV, and everybody bought in around like 12 or 11, right? That's when it was shorted to the fuck.
I always wonder how deep fucking value feels about this now. Like, somewhere he must be just, like, embarrassed at the monster that's been created in his image.
Moon would have to go down to $3 to be at the level that it was at prior to the January sneeze. Make sense? So, because it was at $12, right? Oops.
Mark my words. Mark my words on this. This is my opinion. I don't believe that GameStop... This isn't even a hot take, but it is my opinion, for legal reasons. GameStop is never going to reach as high as it did ever again. It won't even get to half of it. I'd be amazed if it got to a quarter of it.
4 times 3. $12 is what the pre-split initial
Potato Face, how you
226
doing?
amount shorted was, like around $12. That's when I
Yeah, someone posted about me on GME Meltdown a while back because they were shitting on me, the PP people, for, you know, existing.
bought my first shares was
I like GME Meltdown. The people there are generally pretty cool.
around $19 because in January 2021 I was looking at in January 21 was the sneeze, right? But
You think it's a pain for him to put that makeup on every day when he does these streams? I guess he hasn't in a while. I took a look. This is his most recent video, and it's from like 2 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago? 2 weeks ago? Whatever. I feel like that's annoying. If you're gonna do a persona, always have the outfit be easy to put on. Don't do face paint.
what, like 25, 30? This is what the pre-split initial 226 amount shorted was, like around $12. That's when I bought my first shares was
Oh, GameStop will be around for quite a while, I think. They do have a bunch of money on hand. Like, that's just a fact. They have a ton of money to burn because, well, meme stock people gave it to them. So there you go. They have a long runway. It's gonna be a long, long time, probably.
was around $19 because in January 2021 I was looking at
Probably as a template. That's actually fair. If you had like stencils to put on your face and then you could just like spray it or easily. Okay, I could see that.
In January 21 was the sneeze, right? But what I was actually, when I bought in was way back here in like December, well, maybe like November. Yeah, it had to be November because I was, when I first bought my shares, well, my first couple shares, I just wish I would have bought a lot more. I think like everybody, but was because they were going to release, because I knew that they were releasing a new, I think it was like the
I'm not going to make a wager, especially with someone in the meme stock community, because unfortunately there's a large portion of them that are gambling addicts, and I don't want to facilitate anyone's gambling addiction.
the new PlayStation
But I will say, in my opinion, no, I don't think it'll hit 30 in the next 3 months.
or the new Xbox. I think it was maybe PlayStation, which is good to sell well at a video game store during COVID. Plus, they're releasing what was that game called that sucked with Keanu Reeves in it?
Cyberpunk.
God, what was that called? I forgot what that game was called. It's like, oh, Cyberpunk. They're releasing Cyberpunk, which everyone said was going to be the best game of all time. That's what everyone kept saying. So I was like, damn, all right, new system, greatest game of all time. This is a good time to buy this stock right here. And then I started researching it more and more, just based on like, Christmas sales and gaming and stuff too as well. But I started researching it more. I was like, oh shit, what the fuck is going on with this? And I saw how crazy everything was, and I instantly became an expert overnight. And by this point, I knew what the fuck was going on completely, the same as I do now. And obviously we learned some stuff now, but I remember this moment specifically where I was sitting when this happened. I remember the story of the whole thing and how we got screwed, how they turned off the buy button around right here.
They turned off the buy button because they didn't have the reserves in order to actually get the stock for you.
And then I even remember us going back up in March, and they couldn't.
And honestly, that worked out for the best for you guys. If you'd continue, your losses would be even bigger.
figure it out again. And then what did they do? They literally within 5 to 10 minutes went from 312 down to 190 or
Yeah, bubbles pop.
maybe even like 170 or something. Within like
It didn't happen immediately, by the way. He's acting as though it immediately happened. After GameStop, after Robinhood took away the buy button, it still climbed higher the next day. The price started to go down like a couple days after that. And it was just because, again, it's a bubble. Like, obviously this is gonna happen. Everyone knows GameStop is not and has never been worth 400 something whatever a share.
like 5 minutes, which makes literally no sense. And then you start to see
It does when you realize that the price in the first place was illusory.
that sort of thing, and you're like, not just once but twice, and then not to mention everything else you uncover the whole time. You're like, damn, okay, they made a movie about it. It's been a long time, yes, since January 2021, but we got fucked. That's what everyone needs to remember.
You didn't, I guess it depends on what you mean by that. You didn't get fucked because you couldn't buy more. You got fucked because you bought in at the peak. Like, if you did really buy in before, great, I did too. I made a little bit of money on that, but I also understood what was happening. You know what I mean? I wasn't delusional. I didn't think this was some magical thing happening. It was literally basically a pump and dump that was decentralized accidentally. So, but if you bought in at 400, isn't that on you? Isn't that on you for not thinking about this at all? You're supposed to buy low, sell high, not buy high.
got absolutely bent over and raped. I said it. We did. It's a vulgar word, and we need our fucking justice now.
The price dropped from 350 to 170 in 5 minutes. Okay. If it did, cool. It was way overpriced at 350 and 170. That's what happens when everyone realizes, oh shit, we're playing musical chairs and the music stopped. No one wants to be holding the hot potato.
Where's the justice for us rape victims?
Really?
We got financially raped. And it's time for us to fucking get a pride flag about being financially raped. It's gonna be
This guy's fucking disgusting.
green and red. Fucking terrible.
On the days of the peak, nobody could buy at 400. Retail could not buy. No retail guy bought at its peak. That's absolutely untrue. Do you think that Robinhood is the only broker? What are you talking about?
Terrible.
Just because you and the people around you only used Robinhood and you couldn't get it through Robinhood doesn't mean no one could get it.
Christmas. Okay.
And frankly, any broker that would allow you to buy that at 400 should probably not have a license. Read the SEC report. The SEC report that said the shorts closed. That one.
I'm the only person that could.
They said that the primary movement to 400 wasn't because of shorts closing, but it does say the shorts closed. It's just that the reason it got to 400 was, again, people buying in FOMO style that got it to 400, and then like all bubbles, it popped.
Could make a rape joke appropriate and then ruin Christmas at the
This guy's a fucking trash bag.
same time.
Read it again, Dragon Ape.
My bad. It was worth it. I think it's, hey, as Mark Norman says, comedy. Basically, my point was, we're at a point nowadays, right now. We're at a point right now with GameStop where if you just looked at it as a newcomer walking into the scene, or even as a veteran, you might be kind of forgetting everything that's happened. That's why I'm here, to remind you dumbasses.
Green's aplenty. If that's true, then the amount of shares you would have been trying to sell probably wouldn't have sold anyway. Like, I'd imagine it was a single weird action. It could have even been a glitch. But either way, I doubt yours would have gotten bought.
Of all the shit that went down. And it reminds you of, we've been right the whole time. Some of you little fuck nuggets out there have been literally selling off stock and you're not telling anybody, but you have. There's been people who left the stream. You know why? Because
That would be the smart thing to do.
they don't have diamond hands. So we're cutting our own legs off.
Diamond Hand worked out. It's so funny. They keep doing the Diamond Hand things. Hasn't worked out for GameStop. Hasn't worked out for crypto. Didn't work out for Bed Bath. If you consider that Diamond Hands is literally just sunk cost fallacy. Sume with 40 months says, hello loves, recovering from extra life, exhausted and drained. My body is empty and not even horny. I'm just a plastic bag of exhaustion. Well, I hope you raised some money for charity. That's good. I hope you get some rest. Yeah, you can post your fundraising link. Go for it.
If we're getting bored, or a social media age group of people, so we're getting very bored waiting around for this. But the truth of the matter is, they still fucked. And Ryan Cohen himself tweets out a picture of an old man. It's taking a long ass time. We get it. It is. But the truth of the matter is, they've overprinted it. Plain and simple. Clip this. They overprinted the stock, and we got them by the nuts. So let's keep buying and holding, dumbasses. It's still a good company, right? People still gaming, right? Huh?
People are gaming. They're gaming digitally.
They still have no debt, right? Ryan Cohen's still involved, right? Okay, great.
Ryan Cohen is a detriment.
Fundamentally, great. Moaz, great. Still working. Stop being stupid! Wake up!
Oh wow, his whole thing is getting mad and yelling. Holy shit.
You say diamond hands, you mean it! You jump in the cold shower! You stay fully erect the whole time you're in the cold shower! Woo! Veins pumping every which way out of your biceps, out of your wiener. You're fully erect. It's a mental challenge. Try it. Fucking have to. 'Cause that's how we roll around here. What are you, gay? Huh? No. We don't pull out around here. Those are 2 new t-shirts in the item shop that are coming up soon. Make sure you stay tuned and join the stream. Get your merch. Get your merch. I think that was a good way to end it, I think. Perfectly timed with the music, too.
Wow, this guy's fucking insufferable. Holy hell.
You guys raised almost
Fellas,
$4,000.
is it gay to sell its stock? Is it gay to cut your losses? Wow, this guy just sucks ass, doesn't he? Huh. GME versus the world. God. This is from 2 years ago.
Gabe coming in with a 20. Well,
You guys are so much fun. I'm a GME ape holder and I want to know why you call 10 million floor. The Volkswagen Squads just made it to 1K. What is the difference this time? Love you guys.
Nah.
you must be kind of a new
That's not a cool
GME
joke.
holder then. Because the reason we have this floor, okay, is because we know that we own more than the float by like 9,000%.
But you guys don't. They literally publish the DRS numbers. You guys are only like 23 something percent DRS as of the most recent filing, I think.
There's some estimates that it's only like 250, right? On the low end through 9,000%. And these are like conservative estimates.
None of this is true. The maximum short position was only ever 140% in the first place.
Like I've seen data all the way through that. For example, a company can only be sold 100. There's only 100% of a company, right?
Yeah. Yes?
Some of that company is owned by insiders. Some of it's owned by institutions. Some of it's held by whatever. And then some of it's held by retail. Okay? There's only supposed to be 78 million shares available. This free float right here, I think, is 26 million that's available. But for some reason, if you add up all the shares in different brokerage, or traders, God, what is it I'm trying to say? In different brokerages such as like E-Trade, Fidelity, etc., you see that not only just by the people that in their accounts, like E-Trade will say 80% of our people are holding GME. So then you can say, how many users do you have? What's 80% of that? That gives you a number.
Does he understand that the same stock can be shorted multiple times and that's not illegal? Like, you can have the same share and you can lend it to someone in like the stock lending program, and then someone else can do the same down and down the chain. Like, if a company is like 140 or 200% shorted or whatever, it would likely be because the same shares are being shorted on multiple levels, like different bets against the same share that's being lent. I don't know if he knows that.
Let's add that number to the next brokerage and see what they have. Keep doing that. You
All right. I've been doing a lot of GME. Let's get to the goddamn PPs. Okay, so this is fun. As you guys know, the stock was canceled weeks ago at this point. The PP show's still grifting, so that's cool beans. Poitito face. Yeah. Steve with the Q says, what I find most bizarre is the idea that the market is being manipulated and controlled, and everyone from the big player to the regulators are in on it, but somehow they will win by playing the market that they claim is rigged? What authority do they believe will magically step in and fix the corruption? It's like sovereign citizens. They're like sovereign citizens. They think that, like, underneath corruption, or their perceived corruption in many cases, they think there's sort of like this moral milieu, this magic that underlies everything, that if they just use the right words or play the right loopholes, then all of a sudden corruption and systemic corruption or perceived corruption cannot withstand my loophole. It's like they think there's magic words, like there's some objective sense of morality that underlies things that, of course, closely relates to their own version of morality, and that magically, if you just believe it hard enough and say the right words, it'll force people to your perspective.
Michael, how the fuck?
Did PP ever make it to SpaceX? He didn't. Their meetup is supposed to be this month on the 20th, unless they change the date. Their Pulte meetup? That's gonna be glorious. That's gonna be the funniest thing I've ever seen in my life, probably. That stream's gonna be fun. Hydrate.
fuck you doing, man? Great to see you. Love the background, but you are coming out PS1 style, so right on. Good to see you tonight. It
to
usually
see you,
clears up after a minute.
Did I see Overstock officially changed their name to Bed Bath & Beyond? Yes, the parent company is Beyond, and the Overstock is Bed Bath & Beyond.
So, yeah, good to.
Unfortunately, some of the Bed Bath & Beyond apes still don't seem to understand that that company has absolutely nothing to do with them. Because of course it doesn't. But you know how they are. Never let reality get in the way of a good DD.
To see you tonight, man. Or I guess I can't really see you, but right on. It's good that your presence is.
Have they tried to justify the stock cancellation in some way, or have they given up? Last I checked, they thought that the shares weren't canceled. They felt that they were being recalled for a share recall before they're being issued new shares of Teddy or Butterfly or whatever they think the new stock is going to be. It's bullshit, of course. The stock was just canceled, but that's what they think. Right on, right on, right on.
Here.
I just need to
But,
get I need to get a prop vape so I can just take sick, fat vape clouds like PP.
Cool. We have a couple things to get into tonight, Michael. We did have a brand new post that just posted as well. I'm also going to just pull in Sloppy Steaks in here too. So chat, and warm welcome to Sloppy as well. All right, we got Sloppy with us too. Right on. Good to see you, Sloppy. I think ABC will be joining us at some point tonight. I believe Sal also showed some interest in coming on as well at some point this evening. Travis, I think, will be here after a soccer game, and then he should get here. And then let me see if I'm forgetting anyone. All right, yeah, Sal will be here about 30 minutes into the show. That's what he said. So maybe we'll see Sal as well. So welcome to the show tonight. All right, let me read some of these tips here, and then we will jump straight into the DD tonight, man. All right, Kerry Kings with the 20. Great talk on the space.
People are still regularly giving him large sums of money, by the way.
You guys had
Because of course they are.
me in tears just because for once in my life, my family will get.
How often does this show run? Multiple times a week, usually. I feel like it's been maybe a little less common, or maybe I just haven't been watching as much, but let's see, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, 4 days ago, 5 days ago, 8 days ago, 10 days ago, 11 days ago, 12, 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. So it looks like 2 to 3 times a week, give or take.
Get a win. Love you, PP, and I love you, No Pie, and I love my entire PP.
Dragon Ape, I am interested. See, to me, and again, I'm being as respectful as I can. Seriously, I disagree with you, but you've been nice to me, and I'm trying to reciprocate. Are you concerned at all about, how do I put this? The similarities between GME and BBBY in that ultimately a lot of it involves policing negative sentiment as FUD. Like, do you see that as a concern, that there's similarities between the groups in the way that they sort of police things, in the quality or lack thereof in the quote-unquote DD?
Family, right on. Yeah, we had a good time on Spaces today. If you happen to be a part of that today, just an overall good time, man. You know, I had some free time today, so I jumped on the space call. Sometimes I don't have the time, but I feel like we all had a pretty good time today on that space call. So right on. Chillin' ZX with the 2. Here's $2. All right, Chillin', appreciate it, man. Right on. Appreciate the tip. Emotional Damage with the 5. RC, drop some dockets tonight for our entertainment. All right, right on. You heard it from Emotional Damage. And also Bams with the 279. He says, free Palestine, every life matters. Right on, man. If that's your opinion, you're entitled to it. All right.
Of course, that's the one thing he didn't just say right on to.
Let's go ahead.
That's your opinion, man.
And jump into the DD tonight. Let's go ahead and pull this up here.
You could have just said right on. You could have just said right on to that, PP.
Yeah.
Broncocom says right on.
And let's see what's going on. All right, so this was written by a user. Can you scroll up just a bit for me? I liked his presentation here, so that's why we're showing it on the show tonight.
Oh, are they still doing this? They've been making little charts Just, I don't know who figured out to, like, play with some sort of program where they can make charts, but someone figured it out, and they've been going crazy with it lately. And, I don't know. I guess they think that sort of cargo cult-esque, if they display information in what looks like a professional manner, then it somehow makes it official.
This is from. Hold on. It's
TK 421. Do you copy?
All right, right on. So we got a uCopy fan fan who made some DD. Right on. Let's go ahead and read it. So, if you guys can see it at home, it should start to clear up just a bit. Where is the value peepees? DK Butterfly is valuable beyond nulls.
The nulls are net operating losses. The PP people and the BBY people in general are kind of obsessed with this idea of the value in the nulls, because in reality, where we live, net operating losses are an actual asset in hypothetical. They can be used to offset future profit for tax purposes. And if a company is sold, as long as I think the standard is at least 50% of the equity holders have to be carried over, and it has to have continuity of business, but then those nulls, or basically tax offset, can be transferred to the new entity. In this case, the entity isn't continuing, and there isn't a or an equity holder carryover, so no one is getting these nulls. They don't exist. There's literally no way for anyone to do anything with them. It's a thing that they're just stuck on because they need it to be true in order for there to be any value in the company, which there really isn't, at least not as far as they're concerned.
All right.
The similarities of BBBY are not a coincidence. They tried to copy and manipulate the GME community and managed to drag a few innocent folks toward their group. It's not a coincidence they keep speaking of RC when RC has nothing to do with BBBY or Overstock. About your FUD police topic, Superstonk has to police itself because otherwise it would be full of fake posts trying to make fake claims. Many of those posts happen every day and are made by the groups you love, the Meltdowners. Okay, a couple of things. No, a lot of people from the GME community went over to BBBY because Ryan Cohen bought into it, and they felt that he was going to save the company. This wasn't some conspiracy, this isn't a psyop, this isn't controlled opposition. People who are into GME bought into BBBY, and that's what happened. And then when he sold, and they got pump and dumped, they started to go into denial. And also, all of your justifications for having to police yourself against fake posts, that's the exact same justification that PP and his mods use on their subreddit. That's what I'm saying. You're doing the same thing with the same justifications. I know you think it's different, but from an outside perspective, it is not. You are doing the same thing.
Let's find out why. And once we conclude this, we're going to get into Kirkland and Ellis.
Again, I'm happy for you, Dragon Ape, but you seem to think, again, in this black or white, all or nothing. Yes, I'm sure plenty of people that bought in initially did sell, at least when Ryan sold, but many didn't, and continued to do the BBBY thing. People in PP's community, for instance.
Docket. What it says here in the bubble of DK Butterfly shorts, yeah, it's kind of fucking blurry for me, Mike.
So it says the dumb stormtroopers. Actually, I guess.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, I got it now. All right. So the dumb stormtroopers and future buyers. We have Knowles must continue business and 50% ownership. As you know, i.e., shareholders must be taken for a ride.
You've been taken for a ride, all right. Also, you're not shareholders. Also, the rule doesn't say shareholders. It says equity holders, which you're also not. So that's cool.
Reverse IPO, acquiring a public company is cheaper than an
If I
IPO.
compared the size of PP's community with the Superstonk community, it's a small minority. GME has 200k investors with shares in CompuShare. Again, it doesn't matter. I'm not saying the sizes of the groups are comparable. You can have something that's a microcosm of something else.
IPO, peepees. you get peepees as well. You
I would agree, Potato Face. I think that's probably pretty accurate.
get dedicated D-gens with diamond hands. All right.
It's a big asset.
Right on. Yeah.
I cannot overstate, no, meme stockholders are not an asset to any company. They're just not. They're a concern. They're a liability.
I agree with you there, man. Yeah.
I mean,
You
if
get a
most of
bunch of goddamn PBs.
if most of the rich people are like loaning against their shares, having a bunch of people with diamond hands that can prop up your stock so you can loan more, you know.
Yeah.
I also, Dragon Ape, I do want to point out, it feels like you think I got interested in this from the Bed Bath & Beyond people and then discovered the GameStop people and therefore have a bad opinion because I saw BBBY first. Not the case. I was interested in GameStop first, and then BBBY happened, and that became of interest to me because I find this particular community interesting for its level of delusion. It's distilled down to a pretty potent, like, cult-like group. That doesn't mean that I didn't form an initial opinion of GME, like, prior to all of this. I did. I followed it pretty closely. And again, like I said, I made money in 2021. Not a ton, because I don't really do the stock market, you know? I don't find day trading to be something I'm interested in. If I was going to invest, I'd just, you know, invest in, like, a long-term mutual fund or different long-term funds with different levels of, like, risk-reward. But the base would be a very, very stable long-term strategy.
Right.
Makes sense.
Yep. All right, let's go to the next page here. All right, and here at the
Yeah, like when I bought my house, I had started saving money in a mutual fund when I was like 15 and got my first job. And then by the time I was like 24 and was ready to buy a house, I had money for a down payment.
top, it
So
says
I am vaguely like, I'm, you know, I'm an adult.
essentially shorts the dumb stormtroopers and future buyers. Bed Bath or buttfuck shares get reissued or distributed.
See you later, Potato Face. Thanks for hanging out. Hope to see you again sometime. Or around the GME Meltdown subreddit. I'm around there from time to time. I lurk a lot, but occasionally I'll comment.
Short sellers that have borrowed and sold shares of Bed Bath & Beyond are now on the hook for any disruptions or reissued shares. And then also you have the
ETFs are better than mutual funds for tax reasons. Okay, good to know. I'm not currently, like, I stopped putting money in that after I, like, did the down payment on my first house. Because then on my house, as if I own multiple fucking houses. No. But now that I got into the Twitch Partner Plus program and, you know, Baha, you know, getting a, you know, job coming up because, you know, her PhD is finishing up. She's finishing up her PhD soon, which is great. I'm so proud of her. Probably a good time to start getting back into investing for retirement.
broke
Maybe one day I can retire. Wouldn't that be nice? And we could hang out. My wife and I could just spend a lot of time together. That'd be nice.
brokers that the shorts have borrowed from want/need that distribution. Then you start to get
Am I aware that there are short sellers posting their gains in the Meltdown sub? Since you like it, you probably have seen it. I know that there was one short seller that was in the PP community that got shit on for showing it. Other than that, I'm not really sure. I haven't seen that because I don't think most people on GME Meltdown are short sellers. I think they're people like me who are just interested.
margin calls and shorts are liquidated, and DK Butterfly can do an ATM offering into the short squeeze. Now, to go off of the margin calls, there is some tinfoil that has developed.
It's all tinfoil. It's so interesting to me that they'll just be like, here's some tinfoil. It's all tinfoil. Your stock is canceled. There is no conceivable thing you could be talking about right now that is not tinfoil.
Today on Larry Chang's Twitter with a phone. Did you see that today, Michael?
I didn't, but
Yeah.
I can pull it
So
up.
there's a phone, and some people
I know. I'm very happy about Sam Bankman-Fried. That's awesome. I actually, you know, I miss covering shitty crypto stuff. Like, I'm glad that, like, the bubble on crypto is popped, like, in terms of, like, public perception. Like, everyone knows NFTs are a punchline. But I do kind of miss it. Remember Crypto Land? That was fun.
people are saying that it's possibly an ode to Marge calling and things like that. Again, you know, everything can be taken as speculation. Maybe he's just showing his fucking phone off, but
Yeah, Molly's great.
to be
Hydrate.
honest with you, the fucking like the tweet is weird, man. I mean, it's essentially like, all right, this is what it says. We got a phone here. My new home landline phone powered by US Mobile's home phone service, $9.99 a month. And then
I'm assuming Larry Chang is invested in this US mobile phone company. Let's see. US Mobile. Larry Chang. Today I'm excited to announce US Mobile's Series A raise led by Larry Chang at Volition Capital. Yeah, so they did a capital raise for this phone company. It's not tinfoil. They're not trying to signal something for you. It's an ad for a company.
he has a link there. So
Thanks, Sparkly Flowers.
again, you know, maybe Chang's fucking around. Maybe it's nothing.
It's an ad. It's an ad.
But, you
Or
know,
at the very least, it's a promotion for something his fund is invested in. I guess that's maybe arguably not an ad, legally speaking. He's promoting a product that he's invested in. I'm not sure the legality of that.
if you're in the
I'm not saying it's... I'm only saying that because usually for ads-sponsored content, you legally are supposed to say it's sponsored. But I don't think he got paid directly for this. He's, again, just invested in the company, I think. So he probably doesn't have to say it's an ad.
the tinfoil realm, like a lot of us are, man, I don't know. Maybe it's an ode to Marge calling, things like that. I have no idea.
Maybe it's a phone.
Me says no. Laugh out loud. He's invested in a wireless company. Right on. Yeah.
Right on. You immediately made me look like an idiot. Right on.
I mean, I
But-
figured as much, but the phone is interesting.
I figured as much. You didn't say that. That's not what you said. You didn't say that at all.
Would they really be selling an old phone like this, though?
I'm pretty sure that's literally just like a thing he has that can be hooked up. He literally said it's powered by this mobile network. I'm assuming, I don't know if you guys know this, there are like accessories for your cell phone that can connect via Bluetooth and look like old phones. So like if you have an office desk or something and maybe you take calls at work and you either just like the retro look or whatever, you can get calls on your cell phone, but it Bluetooth connects to the phone here that looks like a landline, but it's really just a Bluetooth speaker and microphone in the shape of an old phone. That's probably what's happening here. And we have to analyze it because they think every little thing is a secret message.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't think so. And, you know, like, if he is trying to be like, you know, just kind of like, oh, you know, this is me promoting, you know, the company that I'm a part of.
It's corny, but you like the retro look. Oh, me too. I would do this. I think that's cool. I love retro stuff. Like, this is my keyboard. It's like a typewriter keyboard. And it lights up. Boop. 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 Lights kind of emanate out.
Of, like, I get it, but the fact is, I mean, you know, it's bizarre. So there you have it. So let's get back to that DD.
It actually wasn't too expensive, by the way. I got this on Amazon. So if you're looking for it, you can do like, probably just, maybe it was even Etsy. Etsy or Amazon, steampunk computer keyboard, you'll find it. There's a lot of them.
It's like
From
some light
different
tinfoil,
brands.
all right? All right, so we just read the left side, and let's read this right side here. It says, what is a short squeeze? A short squeeze occurs when many investors short a stock or bet that its price will go down and the stock price shoots up instead.
Why are we going over this? Shouldn't you know this? Isn't the entire premise of your entire thesis based upon there being a short squeeze that leads to MOAS?
One, when the stock price for Bed Bath Q looked like it was about to drop, many people decided to short the stock. And you might have to read the rest, Mike, because it's pretty blurry for
But
me.
then barbecue raised from the ashes, its stock price increased. I don't know.
Oh, there we go.
No, I have to cover my position before it goes even higher. Buy as soon as possible. Buy now. Many more panicked. Suddenly, the sudden.
Again, In 2021, the price didn't go up to 400 because of a short squeeze. It went up to 400 because everyone was buying it. Because it was a meme, basically. A meme stock. It's in the name.
The surge in demand sent the stock's price even higher. A short squeeze happened.
Mm-hmm.
Because I own it, it's called Stream Punk. A, funny. B, oh my god, now I'm imagining in like 100 years there actually being some sort of style called Stream Punk, and it's based on the aesthetic of like e-girls and streamers from this era, so it's a lot of like LED lighting and like, you know, cat ears and shit. I'm down. If 100 years from now someone's doing some sort of Stream Punk tabletop RPG, feel free to resurrect me as an AI and use me as an NPC. It's very specific, but if you plant enough seeds, eventually one will grow.
I actually was telling a friend of mine, he has a finance degree, and I haven't been able to convince him about Bed Bath & Beyond until actually today. Too late for him.
Why do I now? I kind of really want to do... Oh my god, now I really want to do a tabletop game, and it's Stream Punk, and all of the characters have to be streamers in some way. Not like in real life necessarily, but like their characters have to have a backstory that they were a streamer, and then they all get sucked into the internet, and the internet is like the world of the tabletop RPG, and everyone gets powers or abilities based on whatever they want their character to be, and I don't know, that'd be fun. A streamer-themed tabletop RPG game that takes place in sort of an internet world. That sounds fun.
Mm-hmm.
Finally, I was like...
Meek says, you said you wanted to retire, right? Trademark steampunk or streampunk and make it a brand. You got this. I declare trademark!
Look, they said they were going to dilute, and then they didn't dilute the whole way. He's like, oh, that actually makes sense then. That it's like, why would there, be so many extra borrowed shares, and why would we think there was going to be a short squeeze? And it's like, there's more than just that. More than just that they didn't actually feel that. Because it's like, I guarantee every prime broker, as soon as they know a dilution's coming, mostly because they are...
I'm telling you guys, as soon as I get the confidence, one of these days I'm going to do like a D&D stream. I'm going to have tryouts for players and talk to people who might want to and figure out who may be the best fit. And we're going to do the best goddamn tabletop stream that isn't funded by actual money.
The ones who pushed the company towards it, they just...
The PP shills are full of shit. I would agree. I do find it, again... What I find so interesting is the cognitive dissonance between your beliefs of GME and the BBBY stuff. It's so interesting. It's just sectarian conflict for the internet age. So interesting.
Anticipate and start dumping the shares on
Do you have hard takes on transubstantiation?
the market, And then if they didn't actually come, then, oops.
I know. I keep having D&D stuff. It's a whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like a lot of people now...
What's the difference, Dragon Ape? Also, if you want to come on and talk, we can talk. You seem nice enough, and you've been, like, respectful, and hopefully, at least after my initial comments, I'd hope that you feel I've been the same. So if you ever want to talk, you can come on stream. First name bunch of numbers says, as a recovering Catholic, I appreciate that reference to transubstantiation. You're welcome.
Nowadays, they are familiar with like what short squeezes are, but the reality is that a lot of the public doesn't even understand. I mean, like, the real...
It's not hard to understand. It's not hard to understand even a little bit. A bunch of people have an overextended short position on some sort of stock. A bunch of people buy into a stock, making the price go up a ton. Potentially they get either margin called or get scared enough that people start trying to buy. As the buying pressure increases, more and more short sellers trying to cover their positions get into it as well, again pushing the price up a bunch. It's not hard to understand.
The real thing is that the...
Altered Undying says, I ran a cyber generation game. The concept is that something called the carbon plague makes people whose bodies are changing get superpowers. The players all got it when they were young, but then they ran into trans people who were changed during second puberty. Now I want to make you an NPC if you do it again. Go for it. I've said it before. If you want to use me, like, not every creator is comfortable with this. So I'm not giving blanket permission for anyone else. I can only speak to myself. But if you ever want to use me as an inspiration for... I know a lot of you guys play tabletop games, and people get ideas for NPCs all over the place. If you ever want to use me as a template for some sort of character, that's fine as long as it's respectful. Like, I'm fine being made fun of a little. I'm not full of myself, but you know. Don't have any of your characters seduce my character, for instance. That's fucking weird. But, like, you know, if you want to have me be like a normal NPC or a character in something, go for it. I don't care.
Public doesn't understand how corrupt and how fucked up these markets actually are. Like, there's people out there who just kind of...
Thank you, Profane Priestess. I try. I think I like playing tabletop games. It's just hard, you know? I have a lot of memories playing with one specific group, and, you know, just the idea of playing another longer-term thing with new people, I don't know, it's scary.
You know, for instance, like, they just put some money in the stock market, whatever it may be.
Oh, that's nice, Profane Priestess.
And they don't really think twice
Anything interesting happen?
of it. So,
Dragon Ape says, you want to know how different the communities are? Organize a video with Super Stomp community. They'll debate you and they won't ban you like PP shills did. Also, you won't find anyone in the GME comm that doxes people or commits actual crimes. One of the PP shills committed a crime on camera and posted it online. He called a hospital pretending to be Ryan Cohen to know about his unborn child. Yeah, Kais. I remember that. And in fairness, I understand what you're saying. I would agree that probably, especially at this point, the makeup of the GME community isn't nearly as unhinged as the PP community. I've talked about this before. Conspiratorial communities have a distillation effect. The longer and longer they go where it's clear that the conspiracy isn't true, they distill themselves down to the most detached from reality, the most kooky, and often dangerous or angry individuals. So I would say, per capita, you are probably right. But I would also argue, years down the line, if shares get canceled for GameStop, something similar will happen. You'll have a small community of GME people that are just as out there. It's not a difference of content as much as it's a difference of scale. You still have enough normal-ish people. I still think they're not right, but not as delusional as, like, PP and the gang. And they offset a lot of the crazy, I would guess. I'm going to use the bathroom real quick. I'll be right back. While I do, let's put on something for you guys. You want to see PP being hilarious months ago? This didn't age very well. Enjoy this.
What's going on? Good to fucking see you guys, man. So my question is, where's the fucking shills at? Where's the fucking haters? Where's the people who are pushing this shit is going to a fucking $0, man? They're fucking gone. They were full of shit the whole fucking time. All right? Anybody who pushed that this stock was going to zero, man, you guys are so full of shit. Stock's retracing back up to fucking 30 cents. So, I'm finding it hard to believe, man. Just when things are getting fun, man, things are getting interesting, everyone decided to bail. Where's the shills at, man? Where's the people who are pushing the zero fucking bullshit, right? Where's the chapter 7 fucking liquidation bullshit? Why the fuck is IEP down to fucking under $20 today? After hours, I think it's back up over 20, but still, man, I mean, clearly there's a fucking connection here. A lot of people who are pushing this fucking bankruptcy shit, pushing this fucking whatever fucking bullshit, $0, your asses are...
Whoa! Holy crap. Purple Pondini! Thank you for gifting 50 tier 1 subs! Jesus Christ! Thank you! That's so generous. I appreciate it. How are you?
You're fucking quiet now. All right?
Chair gets all the gift subs. That's fair. Chair's a better streamer than me. And PP. It's a low bar, though.
So What do you have to fucking say now, bitches? What's going on? Good to fucking see you guys, man.
His overconfidence would be hilarious if he didn't get like $20,000 from his gullible audience.
You know, it's just very interesting in
'Cause
my opinion.
If you were a prime broker,
Won't let you gift bits for some reason? Weird.
right? Say me and you were both prime brokers, and we knew that every time there's a dilution, there's a 20% drop. If I issue
Oh, there's a max limit per day.
because and there's a T+2, and in those 2 days, typically the stock is going to drop 20% or more.
Yeah.
If I sell mine first, I get to sell them at a higher price.
Lynn, you're real. Thanks for following.
Right? So I'm going to make more than you the faster I do it.
First
So
name
I
bunch
think
of numbers. Thanks for gifting a sub.
that they like pretty much
You have 5,000 left in your bit wallet. Can't seem to use it. They might limit the amount you can give to people a day to try and stop people from like overdoing it if they have like some kind of addiction, you know, to giving people money, which probably happens. Profane Priestess says, "Oh, I'm the first? I don't know then. That is weird." Profane Priestess says, "Canonically, the professor is the patron for a warlock I plan to ally with the party. Because of her wish at the end of her campaign, I decided she's strong enough to empower other mages. If you'd like to talk about what she'd be like as a patron, we can talk." I trust you. I trust you to do it. That's cool, though. I like that.
anticipate it and then dump them on the market early.
Yeah. All right, let's go to the next page.
20K per stream. No, I think overall he's gotten like 30,000, and in fairness, this is before YouTube's cut. YouTube does like a 70-30 split, and then of course there's taxes that need to come into play. But on the Pulte stream, I think PP got like $20,000 in one day gross. Not net, but gross, before all those expenses and cuts are taken. Which is still ridiculous considering he's, in my opinion, lying to people and misleading them on a every show basis. Grosses me out. Hydrate. Like, I wish this was something that, like, CoffeeZilla would cover, because CoffeeZilla gets attention to things and people actually get prosecuted, but, like, this isn't a big enough thing that CoffeeZilla would probably be interested. Nemesaur, thanks for gifting 10 tier 1 subs. 62% to level 7. Woo!
All right, then we'll jump into those dockets. All right. So funny. You get PP's dedicated D-Gen with Diamond Hand.
Oh, that Pulte stream was hilarious. And by the way, the 20th, I think, is currently the date set for their next hangout with Pulte. This is where all the people who donated $500 are supposed to meet up with all of them. It's going to be a shit show.
Is there a
What was the professor's wish at the end of the campaign? The professor wished to take up the place of... There were the gods of, like, time, which was Toll, and the Traveler, who was, like, a god that helped protect travelers. And since they had gone, all the gods were dead. The professor wished to become those roles, basically. Sort of a demigod that is protecting travelers, and also her domain is time. Yeah, she's a time lord, basically. Xandris, thanks for gifting a sub.
better group than...
And the way I always thought of it was it empowers her more than your average magic user. So, like, she has sort of super wizard powers, not anything game-breaking, because obviously it still needs to be functional, but just in terms of, like, aesthetic. Like, it's a story thing, not necessarily a... How do I put this? You know how in tabletop RPGs, as a player, you can only do so much, but then if you're an NPC, you kind of get promoted to a plot point. So you can do things that are maybe plot relevant, but you can't really save the day, because that's the player's job. That's always how I pictured it. She basically promotes to epic adventure NPC status, and gets to do whatever is convenient for the plot for other campaigns. That's how I thought about it.
A bunch of activist shareholders. We Diamond Hand. It's like he's
67% to level 7 with 2 minutes.
giving a presentation
I'll stop talking about D&D so much, by the way. I know not everyone's interested.
to RC, man. We Diamond Hand through the squeeze to telephone numbers, making the squeeze even more valuable for DK Butterfly. Right on. do what you can for your company, or however the fuck you say the quote. Um, yeah, you know what I mean. All right, right on. Is there any other pages here? I like
Yeah.
that he's like selling RC to the peepees, man. Right on. We need to hire this guy.
Or more so selling the people that are going to work with RC to be
Yeah.
like, hey, see, this is what RC is going for, you know?
Mhm. Yeah, exactly. All right, Knowles must continue business in a 50% ownership, and what that means is typically you have to bring the shareholders for a ride.
Equity holders. Shareholders are not the only equity holders in the company, especially not at this point. You don't have any equity.
Knowles up to 1.5 billion, which could even be potentially a lot larger, maybe more with Triton's buyback. So if we go back, even as well as like that guy who came on and even compared that they could possibly get some Knowles all the way back from 2020 due to COVID, that would be very interesting.
Well, and
45 seconds left in the hype
actually,
train.
didn't they change the law in 2018? Because I think when we were reading through,
I want to get over them talking about Knowles, because, I mean, everything's irrelevant because they don't own shares or equity in anything, but holy shit, the Knoll thing has been done for months. Even before the bankruptcy, we knew the Knoll thing wasn't happening.
to the Deloitte, I think that they were like investigating losses all the way back to 2019.
I think you could be right. Yeah. I think you're actually right.
What is this?
Real quick. Let me just read a couple of these tips because they're about to disappear. Fresh on X with the 2. Please dedicate tonight's stream
Oh,
to.
is this just about WeWork and how fucked it was? Mentions of founders, CEOs in S1 filings. WeWork, Adam was mentioned 169 times. Oh my god. The myth making. The goddamn myth making. The WeWork stuff is hilarious. There are some documentaries about WeWork, and at this point there are YouTube videos and analysis. Interesting story.
To SBF 7X guilty. All right, right on. You heard it from Fresh
Twitch makes your phone get so hot. It's because I'm in it.
on X. We also got a 10 here from Peepee fan. Hey Peepee, can you address the screenshot? And basically he lists some of my old position in Wall Street bets. Yeah, man, you know, people trade stocks, man. Believe it or not, there's quite a bit of plays out there to make money. So again, yes, I don't know what you want me to answer on the screenshots. You got the screenshots. If you want to see how much I profited off the old plays, let me know. I'd be happy to upload a screenshot for you. Ramez with the 20. Hi, PP gang. Tell me, are we getting the news Monday? Are we getting the news Monday? Are we confirmed we winning? Just want to say, outside of the show, Kevin, Kaz, and
No, Knowles can be carried over. Knowles can be carried over into future years.
AAA Jade been extremely helpful and educational for me. I appreciate all you PP gang. All right, right on. Appreciate the love, Ramez. And again, we will announce those winners pretty soon on the show. But Ramez has a great heart, man. He invited 5 merger, also sometimes called a reverse.
I'm gonna see when someone else gets on.
To learn about something, then tell
Oh,
me financially.
Salvatore, he loves me.
There. So, Sal, how 0.0 uttered, man, when I'm out there with my your Throbbing Wood costume. All right, right on, Jeffrey. All right, let's go ahead and bring in Salvatore, and we'll get back to. Picture of Doug Sifu at the end.
Salvatore reminds me of
Gets me every time.
There's no downward bias flat earth guy. He just gets really, really mad and says mean things, and he thinks that makes him good at his job. His job being internet person guy. Hydrate.
How you doing tonight, man?
I'm good.
He's trying to launch a co-living company. What the fuck is a co-living company?
Challenged by Krill said that this is James Bond in Sevenhead. So that's the name of the movie.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, I love that intro. That intro was actually made
James Bond and Bag Holder.
by Sal himself. And I've actually been talking with Sal a little bit.
Something hold the bags. I'm trying to imagine what the intro would be to James Bond and Bag Holder.
To maybe fix up some of our other regular guest intros.
Co-living is a new thing where you buy an apartment with multiple rooms and all share it with strangers. Roommates? Do tech bros think they've invented roommates? Oh, the economy's dumb. Gray Freya says stock fall.
Those two, so hopefully he can help us there. So Sal, how you doing tonight, man? What's some excuse me, what's something on your
That's depressing, isn't it? That that's where we're at. Let's just normalize everyone having strangers as roommates because we aren't going to build affordable housing.
mind that you maybe wanted to bring up tonight? We're all ears. Welcome to the show. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm great. It was really good talking to you earlier on the space. You know, that energy, that unwavering conviction was being shared by everyone. And sometimes you just got to go back over the basics. You just need to revisit the facts, and just aligning everything, giving some clear composure to what's going on, can really help you focus and understand what's happening behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And if anyone has clarity, it's people still talking about a stock for 3 hours a night a month after it's already been canceled.
So yeah, I did say in the private chat that I'm going to start a charity within a week or two. I'm going to call it Shills in Shambles, and that's for shills that have been affected by this show and affected by my tweets and any DD that's come out, because a lot of shills are having mental health problems. You know, they've got a job to do, and they're unable to do it because the DD keeps coming out thick and fast. You know, I said to Jake, they're redacting a lot of legal work probably because of you, because they know that you keep reading into everything and telling the whole world.
When will they stop this madness? I don't know if there'll ever be like a definitive breaking point, like a final straw that breaks the camel's back. If it's gonna happen, maybe after the Palte meetup. If it doesn't happen after that and nothing happens, it's just gonna keep on keeping on, probably slowly losing steam over time, but there won't be a big blow up. Probably just slowly break apart over time. Don't know.
What's going on. So I think they've had to redact about 200 hours worth of information because of Jake. And
I honestly wouldn't doubt that, like, one bit. Jake's an animal.
To Chad Mojo's wife, that's Bad Mojo 21, to his wife, not to him, just if he's watching.
All right, right on.
Right on.
Sal, so were you able? I wanted to ask you, were you able to get your hands on any of these bonds?
Yeah, so I bought $13 worth today, and it said 2K face value. That was through Interactive Brokers. So yeah, that was early this morning.
So IBKR, you were able to buy bonds, and do you know if people were able to actively? I know that maybe the 2030s and the 2040s could have been purchased, but do you know if people were able to purchase the 2024s, like you know, a few weeks ago, or, you know, I'm trying to figure out if this is relatively new, or if they've always had the option to buy bonds on IBKR.
The name's Bond, settled Bond. I don't know. You know, I've never bought bonds before. It just came up in conversation today.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? The best way to learn is just buy the fucking thing.
It's true.
Is it? Is that sound advice? I don't think so.
Learn afterwards. Just pick it up as you go.
Yeah, that's how I started options too. You know, I just bought them and just lost some money until I kind of figured it out.
As Ryan Cohen says, you know, what's
you know, you can like look things up without buying them, right? Like you can look into things before you spend money, so you make better decisions.
Having incentive to learn about something than to have a financial interest in it.
Yeah, no, exactly. Agreed.
So I've got a docket I was going to try and bring up.
Yeah, let's take a look at it. Which one do you want us to pull up? We can get Michael to pull it up for you.
If you could get docket 2652, page 3.
Let's pull it up. Toby with the 20. Appreciate the love.
This is the investor who bought into Adam's company. He has a YouTube channel. Oh, yeah.
I just want you to know that it's part of the game to get punched. And the question is not, are you going to get back in the game? The question is when?
Back in August, after A6 and Z announced their investment into Adam Newman's new company.
You know, with the way that most...
all the king's horses and all the king's men did a better job than the story would have had you believe. All right, I'll take a look at this another time.
Toby.
We need to learn more about these bonds. Oh God, what is this? Oh, yeah, okay. About U.S. savings bonds.
Hello, boys and girls. I have a special message for you from the President of the United States. Let me read it to you. I salute the boys and girls who are buying United States savings stamps and bonds through the Treasury School Savings Program. They're learning the lessons of practical citizenship and of wise money management. And they're giving important support to the cause of freedom and the men who fight for us in Vietnam.
Oh no, Batman! Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame.
That message is on this wallet-size U.S. Savings Bonds pledge card, which you'll get in school as soon as you begin to buy U.S. savings stamps. Let's get started today. What do you say?
Did Robin film this, or was it Alfred? Captain Squid says, in around 8 billion years, the sun will expand to consume the Earth. The last transmission from the human race will be, I'm feeling bearish about BBBYQ.
We also got Sun Devil Roga with the 10. Cheers to chat and that slag Sal. Unwavering crumpets. All right, you heard it from Sun Devil. Right on.
2652.
It's definitely unwavering, Sun Devil.
You said 2652?
Yeah, page 3. This should be Lazard's final fees.
This is the lawyers. This is like the final bill from the lawyers that handled the bankruptcy, I guess.
All right, and yes, this is actually some of our DD we were going to cover today. Are you trying to cover the mergers and acquisition activity?
I just wanted to point it out. You know,
They're just obsessed. They brought this up before. Like, look at how many billable hours about mergers and acquisitions. They get real focused on the M, the mergers, and completely ignore the A, the acquisitions. You see, the reason they had to do research on mergers and acquisitions is, A, they were trying to sell the company or potentially merge it, which requires research even if you don't have a deal on the table right then. Secondly, they did end up selling things. Everything. Their IP, their merchandise, tons of stuff, their computer systems. These are acquisitions for the other companies. So M&A doesn't just mean they're spending time working on merging companies. It means that they're doing billable hours, working on acquisitions from Bed Bath & Beyond to Overstock and the other company that bought Bye Bye Baby. Dream on Me. It's not hard to understand.
Travis will probably be on later to cover it in more detail. But I mean, it's there in black and white. You know, 1,900 hours. Out of that, over a third of it was in merger and acquisition activity. You don't, as a bankruptcy U.S. trustee judge, you don't allow 652 hours of merger and acquisition activity to be, you know, utilized and paid for under a bankruptcy court with publicly declared legal services if there's not going to be a merger and acquisition.
There have been acquisitions. What do you think an acquisition is? An acquisition, they fucking sold stuff which were acquired by other entities. That's an acquisition. They just weren't the acquiring party. It's still an acquisition. They're just on the giving end and not the receiving end.
Yeah, and you know, one thing I wanted to highlight with this, Sal, is you're absolutely right. 652 hours, people, all right, that were hired to do a merger and acquisition activity. Yet we haven't seen any form of a merger or an act.
That's like 3 weeks of work for a team of what? Wait. It's like 3 weeks of work for a team of 3 people if they were working full time on that as part of their project for the workday. Something along those lines. 40 hours a week, 3 people, 3 weeks. Something along those lines. 40, 80, 120 times 3. Maybe 6 weeks. The bankruptcy's been occurring for longer than that.
Acquisition really take place. The only thing we've seen is essentially the sale of IPs, which they're essentially going to use in things like that. And Sal's actually one of the people who have brought this up as well recently, actually. I think it was in a space call or maybe it was on the show recently. But One of the things Sal pointed out is that Overstock receives the IP. They immediately get to work, I think, with less than 24 hours. And they start
14 hours.
14 hours, and they start using the name and they start profiting. Now, Dream on Me has owned the IP from Baby for how long now, Sal? At least 2 months, right?
Yes, and in the meantime, they've been preparing their new stores, which are opening just in time for, I think, Black Friday, which is honestly pretty impressive. Like, regardless of how you feel about any of this, the fact that that company was able to come in, buy the IP, and able to, like, try and get these stores together in months, it's actually pretty impressive. I don't know if they'll succeed or not, but it doesn't really matter, because it has nothing to do with these guys. It's a completely separate company that bought the name.
Or like a month?
Since
plus?
July the 20th, I think, was the auction date.
Okay, so roughly what? That's roughly like 3
just
months.
over 3 months. So
Okay.
Yes, and in that time they've been setting up retail locations because they didn't have retail locations before. This is a whole new business they're starting under the Bye Bye Baby name that they bought.
at the core of the trading year.
Yeah, so for 3 fucking months, Dream on Me doesn't even utilize the Baby name. Yet Ryan
Again, they're building the retail locations.
Cohen basically puts a valuation on Bye Bye Baby being a multi-billion-dollar.
He said that like 2 years ago, and it was speculative and based on an internal evaluation that was incorrect. Why are you basing your current opinion based off a years-old thing that wasn't true? We know how much Bye Bye Baby was worth. Nothing is a going concern, but someone bought the name for $15.5 million. That's how much it was worth. Period. There's no but. There's no but Ryan Cohen said. Maybe Ryan Cohen's, gasp, wrong? Have you considered Ryan Cohen's just some fucking guy, and he's wrong?
Essentially like an asset, right? A multi-billion-dollar asset. And yet,
if WeWork becomes a meme stock, that's going to be pretty funny.
Dream on Me is not utilizing it for over 3 months. Something here doesn't add up. And then when you pair that in with 652.5 fucking hours billed for doing goddamn merger and acquisition activity, where is it? Because all they've done is essentially done the stalking horse bids and the bidding procedures and things like that. And I don't really see any merger or acquisition really taking place, in my own opinion.
Wow. It's almost like there isn't a merger and all those hours are A, investigatory to see the value of different things to be acquired, or the actual work of doing the acquisitions once they were sold.
So it seems to me like there's a lot of stuff that's either still under confidentiality agreements or there's a lot of stuff that's still non-public and under NDAs. So what do you think, Sal?
They're obsessed with these NDAs. Anything that's still under NDA is most likely stuff that has to do with the acquiring party's financials. Because, both parties would probably, in order to facilitate these sales, have to take a look at the financials of the purchasing company to ensure that they have the money in order to put in bids. So that information, why wouldn't it be under NDA? Because, Dream on Me is a private company. They're not public. Their information and financials don't have to be public. So it's under NDAs, most likely. Maybe the same with Overstock. I don't know. But the idea that you think that these NDAs are hiding some super secret merger, that's not how anything works. That would be illegal. Myra Soma, thanks for gifting a sub.
Yeah, I mean, it's clear to see, this is just Lazard's fees. And then we take into consideration Alex Partners, Kirkland and Alex, Alvarez and Marshall, and the different roles that they have in this Chapter 11. So I've just put this up in the private chat. This is, I keep getting asked the same question from a lot of shills, which is, when will you guys accept that it's over? Well, this is when we'll accept it's over, when Rule 3022, the absolute final decree in the Chapter 11 reorganization case. And as it says there, after an estate is fully administered in a Chapter 11 reorganization case, the court on its own motion or on motion of a party in interest shall enter a final decree closing the case. Well, we're not there. We've got a plan. And
I'll make sure to post that and at Salvatore whenever that happens. I'm sure he'll accept gracefully.
These guys understand what the word plan means. It doesn't mean the absolute final decree. That's another thing. And the plan is subject to change. And the
Not the part where you get nothing. It's already gone into effect.
whole purpose is to fix the company, to restructure the debt. Otherwise, they would have gone straight into Chapter 7.
They literally explained in the plan and filings why they didn't do that. They are still liquidating. They have liquidated. All that's left is the wind down trust. That's all that exists.
But they
They tried to reorganize. It was unsuccessful, so they've liquidated under Chapter 11.
the funds. They knew that they
Pterodona says the goalpost has already gone plaid. It can't go any faster.
had the assets and the interest to make this a possible acquisition. Now, if we look at the plan, a plan can change after confirmation in Chapter 11. It has to have certain circumstances for that to happen. One of those is that the substantial consummation. So Jake's spoken about this quite a lot. I'm just going to go back over it just to remind people. But the plan can be modified at any time before it's substantially consummated. And that's only with
Hats off. What do you want me to wear for the hats off?
the approval of the bankruptcy court. The bankruptcy court's role in this is to ensure that the company makes it out as a going concern or as a new entity, however is more beneficial to the company. They're not there to dissolve the company, they're there to
Bullet crown? Okay.
help it. And the court's only going to approve a modification if it's in the best interest of all creditors and equity holders, and that does not materially and adversely affect the interests of any party. So what is a substantial consummation? That would be the transfer of assets to a new entity, the payment of distributions to creditors, the issuance of new equity, or termination of old contracts. So if they have not implemented any of this stuff, but an offer
terminated
comes
your
across, or somebody makes a
shares.
credit bid, or a
Does that
leverage
count?
buyout occurs, or somebody wants to exchange debt for equity, that's the most priority that they have to go by. The plan will be modified to reflect that. And to modify it, they have to file a motion with the bankruptcy court. The motion must explain the proposed modification and why it's necessary.
It's not happening, though. Your shares have been canceled. They literally can't be uncanceled.
Then the
Literally, I pulled up a courtroom thing, because they were in court, and someone tried to make this argument, and it didn't go well.
Because there is in the as justification for cancellation of our shares on the effective date. So the debtors have cited that the
Hydrate.
So all allowed interests can be cancelled on the effective date. But what we assert is that our interests cannot be considered allowed because pursuant to Section 502 and 501 of the Bankruptcy Code, a proof of interest needs to be filed for the interest to be considered allowed. And and the other way the interest could be considered allowed is that a list of equity security holders which accounts for those shares is filed current as of the effective date. But the last equity holder list that we got from the debtors was back in May 5th in docket 219. So that list is not current, and in our amended motion that we are going to file, basically we have affidavits showing.
God damn, this guy says a lot.
That I have purchased a considerable amount of shares since then, which had been directly registered with the transfer agent. So in essence, the list of equity security holders list that was published back on May 5th cannot be used in lieu of considering all the basically the equity interests of all the shareholders as allowed interest as of the effective date. And so the
long-windedly, he's trying to say, you can't cancel my shares.
There is another.
I'm gonna get to the response.
Because
all right, thank you, Ms. Winograd.
I
Rebuttal.
want to briefly summarize the plan that was confirmed by this court on September 14th of 2023. Under the plan, it is not projected that general unsecured creditors will be paid in full. The projected recovery set forth in the disclosure statement for the general unsecured creditors is at best 2.5% on account of their general unsecured claims. The pre-petition secured lender is also not being paid in full. They're still owed in excess of $200 million. And the unsecured creditors can only recover anything if the secured claims are paid in full. But even if they are, the general unsecured creditors might still only see 1 or 2% on the amount they're owed. Also under the plan, all equity interests were canceled, and on the effective date, which was September 29th of 2023, in accordance with the terms of the plan, all shares of the debtors, including appellants, were all canceled. On October 18th, the Depository Trust Company effectuated the...
The Depository Trust Company is the private company that actually holds stocks. They're the ones that actually hold stocks. And then other brokers buy stocks and sell them through the DTC. And when they buy and sell, the DTCC basically says, like, oh, Berkshire Hathaway owns this many shares of whatever. And then Berkshire Hathaway or Robinhood or whoever will be like, okay, on our books, out of the shares we own, this much is owned by this customer, then this much is owned by this customer. But they're still, like, owned by the broker you get them through. But, like, the buck stops here, the final, like, this is where the actual stock is. That's the company she's talking about. The Depository Trust Company, the DTC. H-Beard says, oh my god, I have it figured out. Remember that episode of the original Star Trek where a cloud creature that fed off of negative emotions forced the crew to fight Klingons? Maybe a cloud creature that feeds off people being wrong came to Earth in 2015 and has been causing all of this. It almost makes too much sense. It's me. I'm the eldritch entity that's done this. I'm sorry. It's been funny though, right? It's been pretty funny. I'll be done soon.
The administrative cancellation of the QSIP numbers associated with...
Give me another couple decades of fun, and then I'll put things back to normal for you guys.
...the stock, as well as the debtor's other securities. So all of the stock has been canceled, and it can't be uncanceled.
The stock has been canceled. It can't be uncanceled.
Appellants now appeal the plan, arguing it's not fair and equitable on the ground that their equity interests were canceled before the stock was returned to the debtor. But appellants can't sustain their heavy burden of showing the extraordinary remedy of a stay pending appeal is warranted. And as we stated in our brief, appellants must show all of the following 4 factors are met to warrant a stay. They must show a likelihood of success on the merits of their appeal, that they will suffer irreparable harm in the absence of a stay, that the debtors and other parties will not suffer if a stay is granted, and that a stay serves the public interest. And none of these elements are met. Starting with the most critical factor, the likelihood of success on the merits of the appeal, appellants fail to show they have any chance of succeeding on this appeal. They maintain, again, that the plan isn't fair and equitable because their equity interests were canceled prior to this outstanding stock being returned to the debtors. Specifically, appellants raised 3 issues on appeal. The first is whether outstanding stock is property of the estate under Section 541 of the Bankruptcy Code. The second issue is if the answer to number 1 is yes, and outstanding stock is property of the estate, whether that stock should then be turned over to the debtor under Section 542 of the Bankruptcy Code. And the third issue is if the answer to number 2 is yes, and that stock is subject to turnover, whether the plan is fair and equitable under Section 1129B2 of the Bankruptcy Code because it allowed voting by claimants who held stock that purportedly belonged to the debtor. And I want to walk the court through each of these issues to explain why the appeal has no chance of succeeding.
So she goes on for another 20 minutes and explains this, but it basically boils down to what she already said, but more in depth. The stock is canceled. You can't uncancel it. Even if you could, you would get nothing. So this is pointless. Stop wasting everyone's time. And the judge agreed with her. Surprise.
The court will hold a hearing, consider the motion, any objections, and then we'll get the final outcome. And that's what we're after here.
There already is a final outcome. It doesn't involve you.
Yeah, and I agree. You know, like I believe at the end of the day, the people who are behind whatever's going on with this deal, and again, that's why I've remained bullish the entire time. You know,
You're bullish. Your bullishness has nothing to do with the fact that you run a show that people come to specifically so you tell them good things about BBBYQ and give you money for that. That has nothing to do with why you're bullish.
oh, there's a reason why either potentially some of the leases that have Ryan's name were rejected. There's a reason why. There's a reason just in general why his name on those leases are. I'm sorry, those leases with his name on them. Why they're not popping up in some of these dockets as being sold. So.
Because they were rejected. Those leases were rejected.
I do.
They constantly talk about, like, oh, we read all the dockets, and then it's like they'll selectively memory hole things that are devastating to them. Those releases were rejected. The ones that were not sold were rejected. This already happened.
Think that something is a lot bigger here than what we've been even speculating. I mean, you know, a lot of us think that it could be an Amazon competitor, you know, a Berkshire Hathaway. You know, this potentially could be so fucking large. And the biggest thing for me, too, is like this $10 billion claim that's come in as of lately, you know.
Oh, God, I forgot to bring this up. This is so stupid. So people can make claims against the company. It basically only exists as a liquidating trust at this point. But people can make claims and say, like, oh, I have an invoice that shows that Bed Bath & Beyond owed my company $2,000 for this service or good or whatever. In these cases, from what I've heard, there are always a few cranks who put in just absurd claims because, as we know, there are a lot of delusional people out there. So recently, a loony put in a claim of $10 billion. Literally, someone just filed with the court and said, I think Bed Bath & Beyond owes me $10 billion, which is funny, because no, they don't. And even if they did, you'd be fucked. They don't have $10 billion. We wouldn't be here if they had $10 billion. However, the PP people, instead of recognizing, oh, this is a wackadoo, you know, putting in a request that of course isn't going to happen, instead, they've warped reality to decide that someone saying Bed Bath & Beyond owes them $10 billion is somehow secretly someone trying to give $10 billion to Bed Bath & Beyond. How does that work? Why would it literally be the opposite of what you're saying it is? I don't know.
It's very bizarre. Like this close to the end of the play, and you get a $10 billion claim. Which has anyone commented on that? Salvatore, just in general, in some of your space calls, does anybody have an answer to what this claim is, or what?
Frivolous. It's frivolous, is what it is.
Why this claim has come through?
I haven't seen any credible arguments, even myself, you know, to see such a large claim appearing at this late, and as Regions put some good DD out on it, you know, you can't just decide to claim 10 billion from the court. Otherwise, I'm sure, you know, Life Relationship would be there saying that he's got $10 billion to claim as well. So there has to be some sort of substantial evidence to the claim.
Because no one ever does anything irrational, says the group of irrational people who meet 3 times a week to talk about nonsense.
And how it's owed. And I'm sure we'll find out in a few days.
Sounds good. I'll go ahead and read this post here from Sal that we have. Also, real quick, Slick Willie with the 5. PP, would you be able to check out my tweet I tagged you in regarding Larry Chang's rotary phone tweet? Seems a good way to get involved. Could be wrong.
I already talked about it.
Slick Willie, yes. What is your Twitter name on Twitter? Is it Slick Willie? If it is, I'll look for you.
If you got added, you don't need to know the name. You can just look at it.
Thunderous Queefer with the 5. Where's Plur? Oh, yeah. From Thunderous Queefer. Right on, man. Appreciate the 5. Hopefully we can get chat.
They're like teenage boys. They're gross teenage boys.
Chat in here as well. All right. Let's go ahead and read this, and then we'll also bring in a guest backstage in just a moment. All right. So this is essentially Sal's tweet from today. For those of you that are tuning in and listening, or maybe you're not looking at the screen, we'll go ahead and read it out for you. Sal says, this week, TradingView relisted the Bed Bath ticker with the chart and information. I haven't...
This website glitched out and re-put on a bunch of canceled stock tickers for a little bit, and they've decided that this is bullish, even though it was a glitch that affected many canceled stocks other than Bed Bath & Beyond. But they've decided clearly this is all about them.
Seen this for any other company after cancellation, i.e. Credit Suisse or Evergrande. This resurgence of ticker information with the bonds being tradable on IBKR again is a very interesting development and a step in the right direction of the thesis we have for Bed Bath Q shareholders being made whole and experiencing a shareholder windfall. TradingView provides accurate data sources for all major markets globally in stocks, bonds, ETF futures, and more. They state, we reliably connect you to hundreds of data feeds.
Yes, and something glitched. Like, it's wild that how many of their, like, hypotheses depend upon every company never fucking up. Like, they think everything has to be a lie, an intentional lie, or objective truth. There's no room for, like, oh, something just glitched. Like, they're not fucking with you. It just glitched. That's it.
With direct access to 1.3 million 57,880 instruments from all over the world, sourcing the highest quality information used by professionals.
Sorry, I have to use the bathroom again. What'll I put on while that happens? I don't know. Tin foil. Here's this. Overthought made this. Thanks, Overthought. I'm gonna use the bathroom. Be right back.
I'm fucking excited.
It's zero or fucking hero, man.
There is no hero.
This guy's not gonna fucking leave us hanging. We're all gonna fucking make it.
There was never an option for that.
I'm fucking excited.
Honestly, I've never seen a group of people become that disconnected from reality.
It's emotional manipulation. They're just manipulating you psychologically, okay?
Incorrect.
I'm wagering my life savings.
You lose all your money.
I've never seen a group of people become that disconnected from reality.
I'm fucking excited.
I outlived Blockbuster, I outlived Sears, I outlived Toys R Us where I fucking worked, and I'll outlive Bed Bath & Beyond, you fuckers.
This is about the fuckers that have been robbing us.
I'm an investor.
They fucking took it from us.
I'm not kidding. This is how they think this works. They think that a company is gonna give them money for loyalty to a stock.
This guy's not gonna fucking leave us hanging. We're all gonna fucking make it.
Incorrect.
What the fuck are they hiding?
Some of the bondholders want to fuck Bed Bath & Beyond.
Just get into BDSM like a normal person, Jesus.
It's zero or fucking hero, man. They will get nothing.
Toxic baggy train, chugging down the tracks of losing your money. Toxic baggy train, taking advice from people on the internet who don't know anything about stocks. What a banger. Thank you again for that, Overthought.
From institutional grade data partners. TradingView source
most
data
prominent,
from
offerings
Didn't mean to do that.
From the CBOE Chicago Board Options Exchange
here's the
Stock
link, one
Exchange.
sec.
The CBOE is the largest U.S. options exchange. CBOE offers options on over 2,200 companies, 22 stock indices.
Indices.
Indices, got it. That's what I said, indices. And
Oh, you're doing so
140 and 140 exchange traded funds. So what's the shill's excuse now? Another glitch, typo. Will they just refer us to a 4-week-old 8K from 20 or from DK Butterfly? We are inevitable.
Good luck.
There it is right there. Bed Bath is back on Trading View. All right. So what was your thoughts, man, with this tweet here, Sal?
Yeah, so I mean, you know, when we put out the PitchBook data, a lot of people said, "Oh, well, PitchBook's not reliable, it's not credible, it has mistakes." Okay, well, here's Trading View now. Really,
Yes, every system is going to have mistakes. It's like they think the stock market works as this well-oiled, perfect machine. It's cobbled together with, like, rubber bands and tape, guys. Like, shit gets fucked. It's not indicative of anything. None of this, even if what you thought was true, would be indicative of anything to you. It would have to come in official filings. They're just so desperate to try and find anything they can contort to be positive. It's kind of sad.
be showing the ticker.
Right.
I don't see
At the very least, PP's a big piece of shit, and so is Salvatore, so I don't really feel bad for them. Feel a little bad for Michael, but he's also pretty shitty, so...
Credit Suisse back. I don't see Evergrande back. There's a lot of tickers that have disappeared from there and not returned. Yet here we are. Chart during the last trading price and the last volume. I popped out by mistake, but it was
Oh, I think you're cupping your mic there, Sal.
yeah, they're showing the ticker back. Now, what's the excuse for this? You know, what the show
Glitch.
was going to say. Jake made a good point about this the other day. He said that FINRA may have been given a 10-day notice, which would expire this Sunday, November the 5th, and potentially Merger Monday again for the 15th time this year.
Oh, okay. So that
Zealous55, thanks for 29 months, says, buy more BBBYQ. That's a funny thing. They can't buy it. They can't. So, like, what do they even think is happening?
could make a lot more sense why FINRA then went and like pulled everything, right? I mean that could make sense because to them they're just pretty much following these orders to essentially, you know, remove the stock off of exchanges or whatever it may be. That's highly likely, and I like that you know, that scenario if that's the case for the Sunday.
Also,
Yeah, I mean, they're getting their data from somewhere.
one thing that reminded me of just real quick.
They're probably pulling their data from somewhere and accidentally they got an old feed. Like, that's literally probably it. Somehow they're pulling data that's old.
Is you know, a couple of their companies we thought possibly were connected. Pitney Bowes, for example, jumped up 25% today, and so did Shopify.
What are you shilling, Michael?
They think Shopify's involved because literally the Teddy store is a Shopify website. Yeah.
Well, no, I'm just saying that, like, if we thought that, like, you know, that other people were involved, I mean, like, because
yeah,
Pulte brought up Pitney Bowes and it shot up 25%, so I don't know if that means that, like, the deal was closed and, you know, seemed a little more than coincidental.
Yeah. I do like I do really like Citizen's his thesis that he
I understood it, Dork Phoenix.
came on and kind
It's Guy Fawkes Day.
of explained like the DPO route as well.
Hey, fun fact, Guy Fawkes was actually a big dickhead.
Like with work and stuff. I mean,
he was trying to kill Parliament to install a papal, like, a papal rulership over the UK.
You know,
which ain't great.
This has like a couple like doors it could go through, you know, like you could see a carve out, you could see a DPO. I mean, you could see a combination of a few. You know, we also have someone who is on the board, you know, currently who is a SPAC specialist. Okay, they're like a SPAC expert. And to be honest with you, I think there's a reason why Shelley Lombard's still there today. And I've said it so many times in the fucking show. Shelley Lombard. Yes, she is a goddamn Bond degenerate and also a SPAC fucking queen, man. All right, she knows what she's doing. And when you start looking at those diagrams in terms of like a butterfly transaction, it starts to
butterfly transactions are a thing in Canada Bed Bath & Beyond is based in the United States. Butterfly transactions aren't a thing in the United States.
Makes sense, man, with how they would execute something like this. But it does take a lot of professional people, and having someone like David Caston doing it is fantastic, in my opinion. I mean, what greater person to execute one of the greatest moves of all time than David Caston? So very bullish on the board and the people involved with it. So, all right. We have another post here from Sal. I'll go ahead and read this for everybody out there. It says, these trademarks are live and filed under intent to use. These trademarks are legally filed in good faith, genuine, and authentic. They are not deceitful or fraudulent. In the context of an ITU application, the applicant's intent to use the trademark in the future must be bona fide. You either saw it or you...
I am impressed. I so thought he was going to say bona fide. I really thought he was gonna. I'm almost impressed.
Didn't. Bed Bath & Beyond Q. And as we see here, we have an attachment to the Teddy I.
They're just reiterating the old tinfoil. It's not even new. Yes. Oh, wow. Look at all these trademarks filed.
Okay. I'm sorry, the Teddy trademark. And what's the newest? So this says status 1018. What was updated?
Well, there wasn't an update, but the fact is, you file these legally under intent to use. You file them in good faith. You don't just file them for the sake of...
Generally, when you're filing trademarks for a product, yes, you're going to cast a wide net. That's it. That doesn't mean they're actually going to use these. It's protection for the future. Because again, if you don't know, Teddy is the brand of children's books that Ryan Cohen has. They're terrible. Presumably, he cast a wide net in case it was popular. They could do Teddy-branded kids merchandise. You know? Blankets, stuff like this, comforters. You know how kids stuff has, like, book and TV characters on it? That's what this is for.
Sitting on them and doing some sort of arbitrage in between. He's filed these for sale use, and he hasn't suspended or abandoned them or told his instructed...
Yeah, people file trademarks all the time. In fact, Kais helped PP trademark the PP show, and that also is filed under a bunch of different categories that he's not currently involved in. So he should know that that's how this works.
Olsha and Walowski lawyers to stop
Yeah.
this trademark.
Right.
In fact, they've all gone live, and this is just the USP.
The trademark and patent offices are so backed up that the way that it works is basically they approve everything tentatively, and then it just gets dealt with via litigation. They don't really check things over too thoroughly.
PTO. They are live under WIPO in China, US, UK, Canada, and the entire EU. This is inevitable. You know, this isn't my opinion. This is theirs. Objective.
Heard it here first, folks. He said that wasn't his opinion.
Data.
Yeah.
He has filed trademarks ready to use. Teddy Holdings is registered as a bank. And it just goes to show that, you know, people are forgetting the basics at this point. He has got something going on. He's aware.
The basics would be that the company doesn't exist and neither does the stock.
He's definitely...
I'm going to skip ahead.
Privacy rights.
Let's go. All right, we got Mike Hands and French Toast. What's going on? Let's go ahead and get a mic test. We can hear Mike Hands and French Toast. Can we get a mic test?
Can you hear me?
Mic test.
We
1,
can.
2.
Right on. We got you. All right, cool. Mike Hands, go ahead. Take it away for us, man. What do you have for us tonight?
Great.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen of the PP show.
Right on. Yeah, I like that energy.
Too much energy.
All right. All right. We're off to a good start.
Oh, God, listen.
Yeah.
We are off to a great start. All right,
Right on.
let's preface this. We're on, let me count here. We're on number 3. Okay?
Yeah, all right.
Oh, he's drunk. He's drunk. Great. Hydrate. Cool beans.
Right on. Enjoy, man.
Number 3
Mm-hmm.
of the whiskey cokes. All right?
Yeah.
And so we're just going to go ahead and we're going to let you guys know, well, at least I'm going to go ahead and tell the community here. First of all, everybody in here, your lives are going to change. NFA, listen, we're literally just hanging out at a virtual bar.
Right
all
on.
right?
Yep.
We're just shooting the shit. All
We
right.
are.
Nobody's a financial advisor, and we're all degens, but listen, we have a goal to change the world. All right, and we're doing great. And I'm gonna go ahead and say this: we're gonna make it. And with these dockets, all right, with these beautiful legalese, confusing ass wording, and this beautiful show that kind of just
It hurts me so much when they say it's confusing. Like, don't get me wrong, there is absolutely, like, legal jargon throughout these documents, but the broad picture is not really hard to understand. It isn't. It's really easy. It's more so that you don't want to accept the real explanation for the documents because it's devastating. I understand that psychologically it would be incredibly damaging for you to realize that you've wasted all this time, money, energy on this thing that you didn't understand. But I feel like this guy's on the verge of a nervous breakdown. Like this. And as I've said, you guys know I'm a recovered alcoholic. I have so much sympathy for people who struggle with addiction to alcohol or gambling or whatever. And it just hurts seeing this. It's so sad. H-Baird says, Mike Hands is a Kansas City fan. It's too bad you're banned from the PP show because you could totally troll him by asking if that's the team Taylor Swift likes.
ciphers it. We won.
When was this show? 2 days ago?
The shills, all right, listen. The shills cannot, for one, provide
Thanks, Cosmic Cats.
proof that they closed their shorts.
Phil did.
All right. Fuck Phil. I mean,
literally Phil did, and you guys just called him a liar and said he photoshopped stuff. Like, you ask for evidence, and then when it's presented to you, you just deny that the evidence is real, like flat earthers. It's sad.
Thank you, thank you, Phil, for at least being a part of it, but at the end, you cheated, okay? And
no, he didn't. He didn't cheat. You guys lost.
He's all right. He's not.
It was not photoshopped.
Not too bad, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, no, he's a great guy, but with everything being said and done, he didn't close. All right, and
he did. He showed evidence of it, photographic and video, once they asked for a video.
And hopefully, he has a great, he takes care of himself. But at the end of the day, he didn't close. Shorts did not close.
He did. He did close. Shorts closed. Most of them probably closed before the thing even fully went bankrupt. Because, why would you even be shorting at that point? The interest rate on the stock borrow program is going to be ridiculous at the prices it was already at.
Okay? And we're excited, all right? Because in these dockets, it confirmed that there is an equity coming out due to the wording. It can be interpreted. I could be wrong.
He's wrong.
I'm a D-Gen. I'm on my third drink, so...
Yeah.
I hate this lamp shading shit. As I'm a recovered alcoholic, the kind of person who will casually be like, haha, I'm on my third drink, and it's clear that they're actually under distress and having a bad time. That's a coping mechanism that alcoholics, including myself, used, or use in the case of this guy, in order to obfuscate the actual problem that they have. Like, joking about one's addiction is a really common way that people cope with and present their addictions. Because it, it relieves some of the tension. Haha, I'm in on the joke. I'm not an alcoholic. I don't have a gambling problem because I can joke about it. Haha. It's really sad.
Nothing.
And again, I'm not saying this guy specifically is anything in terms of addiction. I'm just pointing out concerns I have based on my experience.
Thing is, it's all speculation, right? But from the wording, from what I've read, there's an equity coming out.
There's not.
Bye, baby. All right, that's why I bought that costume, because baby's coming back.
It's going to exist because Dream on Me, a completely separate private company, bought the name for $15.5 million outright. They're opening stores. Those stores have nothing to do with you. You have no equity in those stores or Bed Bath & Beyond because that stock was canceled and deleted.
All right,
Baby is worth multiple goddamn billion.
No, it isn't, and it never was. Stop treating Ryan Cohen's words that he said once over a year ago as if it's fact, as if it's scripture.
It's a capital B.
Absolutely,
all right?
100%.
Capital B.
Yes.
You know, it's coming
Agreed.
back November 18th. And anybody that has baby stuff, anybody that loves women or men, you know, regardless, if you want a child, all right, your supplies are coming back November 18th.
Fun fact, no one in the entire world sells baby products except for Bye Bye Baby. I didn't even know Bye Bye Baby existed until this stock bullshit.
Yes.
Okay? November 20th was a government bar date that ends, I think, if, you know, forgive me, you know, number 3, but November 20th, I believe, is the end of the court for Bed Bath, and possibly a reemergence, which most likely is going to happen.
What do you mean most likely it's going to happen?
But yeah, so that's
what?
a date. You know, we don't hype dates, but that is a couple of numbers that are very exciting to look forward to.
Are they?
No, I agree. Yeah, 100%. The exclusivity ends on the 20th, and a lot of things are happening. And again, you know, if the stock was essentially getting canceled or it was worthless, I would assume
already been canceled.
That the tickers would not be popping back up. And you know, it's very interesting. Some of these guys who are buying the bonds as well and IBKR as well, you know, they're purchasing these bonds, and you know, the company is listed as Bed Bath and Beyond, like BBBY. So it's not overstock, you know, because their ticker's changing to BYON.
Right.
Yes, but it's still the company that was known as Overstock. They don't even understand how these entities differ and what makes one entity one versus the other. Oh God.
So yeah, I mean, something has to be happening at this point. And you know, you notice a lot of these people who were initially like shit talking Bed Bath like all over Twitter, now all of a sudden a lot of them are just silent.
I mean, a lot of people probably aren't talking about it because it's over. Like, it's not even of interest anymore. It's been talked about. I'm the weirdo for still talking about it at all.
Because, you know, they saw the stock get canceled, and now all of a sudden it's getting reposted or relisted essentially.
No, it's not.
Actually on NASDAQ and whatever, and they're probably getting scared now, you know. So I haven't really been seeing the Twitter shows as often either. So it's real interesting.
You blocked me, PP.
Oh, absolutely. PP, listen. They are terrified.
They have to be.
They're fucking scared. I mean,
yeah, they must be really sad and alone in their rooms on their third drink.
I think so.
Can you imagine?
Oh,
I mean, besides Halloween, listen. In our community, Salvatore, God bless you. I mean, you are wonderful. You are literally
he's a fucking savage, man.
I appreciate
you
it.
are a savage. I retweet. I like.
I would agree with that statement. I would agree.
Literally
the literal statement. Yes.
Everything you do, because you are the the PB community and the Bed Bath community's champion.
Right on.
All right. Anytime anybody says anything negative, like Platinum.
If Salvatore is you guys' hero, holy shit, you're fucked.
Sparkles or Professor is one of the worst on Twitter, NFA, my own opinion. But you attack, you go for the throat like
damn, I didn't even get a call out.
Lions do. And you let them know facts, literally documented, confirmed facts on what's going on. All right. And you do it in that London buttery voice where they can't argue. They can't even come to a Twitter space to rebuttal what you tell them, which is the facts, because they're scared. All right, they're shills. They're paid to be people who are negative, and this community, in
this community, the PP show is paid to be delusional. That's better.
Entire history of the internet is the only truth.
Right
it
on.
is the only truth that's not bought and paid for. and that people can be freely like, I'm just another one of you degens. I apologize that I don't have a whole lot. Jake 2B is another one of
Night,
our
Will
wonderful
Kale.
DD writers that literally he called the Deloitte factor.
He did.
The fact that Deloitte was being secretive until just now,
Yeah.
where IRC section 382, I believe, if I'm wrong, it's forgive me, but IRC section 382 of ownership change / merger and acquisition, he called that, what was it, a few days before this whole document series literally came out. He called it, and it's just, I literally have that cigar that we smoked together, PP.
Yeah.
It's saved. All right. It was a Maker's Mark.
That's interesting. You saved a used cigar because you had it with PP.
Ted cigar for Teddy. And I have that saved because when this pops off, first of all,
when, not if, apparently.
I have that helmet for my Halloween costume.
Yeah.
It's going in my car.
All right, right on.
As soon as this happens, because we all have day jobs, as soon as this happens, people have been doubting and shitting on me at work because, I work in, a high-end area. People have been saying, oh, it's bankrupt, it's gone. Well, guess
correct.
What? First of all, both companies are back. Bye-bye.
Again, no, they're not. The brand names are being used by other companies wearing them like a human skin suit.
Baby, November 18th. Bed Bath & Beyond, Overstock, which also, they didn't use the IP. They're changing the name, so I believe...
They are using the name Bed Bath & Beyond. Their stock ticker is just Beyond because the parent company name is Beyond, but the website's still Bed Bath & Beyond.
My opinion, that the IP is going to go back to Bed Bath.
No, it's not, because they sold it?
And magical things are going to happen. I can't say anything else because I don't want to embarrass myself.
All right, right on. All right.
Too late.
All right, cool. Let's get some closing thoughts from Mike Hands here real quick. We got Moonsung with the 2 butts, Unwavering Erection right on, Big Pappy with the 5. You don't have to clearly state which side you're on in war. You never tell the enemy what you're going to do beforehand. Right on, Big Pappy. We also had Emotional Damage with the 5. This mofo is useless. We also had Emotional Damage with the 5. I wouldn't even ask this dude for directions. It will take him too long. Emotional Damage again with the 5. Give him a capital D slap. Damn, Emotional is out for blood tonight on Mike Hands. Right on, Mike. Apologies, but give us some closing thoughts, man. Give us some thoughts, and we'll move on to French Toast, and we'll bring in Shoddy next. Let's see what's going on. So, Mike Hands, let's hear it, man.
All right. Closing thoughts. Chat, that's okay. This is, I'm excited. All right.
Yeah.
I'm about 3 drinks in, getting ready for the 4th. And I'm just showing love, So
right.
I let the professionals, PP, Michael, Salvatore, Jake, I let them do the DD.
Yeah.
And
they are not professionals.
I'm the cheerleader, okay? I'm just excited. I'm
Cool.
just the puppy dog that loves you. And I'm ready to excite and hype everything. But regardless, at the end of the day, anybody that has Bed Bath shares, guess what? It's confirmed in the...
No one has Bed Bath shares. They don't exist. You're talking to a crowd of 0 people.
Documents that new equity is coming.
The new equity is literally just to creditors to keep track of who's owed what. It's not for you guys?
Tamara, Holly Etlin, and Patty Wu, and Ryan Cohen especially, are coming through for us, all right? So it doesn't matter, what happens. If any shills say any negativity, if anything happens, it doesn't matter because we're on the right side. We're going to change the world. And this is the greatest wealth transfer in human history.
All right. You heard it from Mike Hands, man. Mike Hands, I appreciate you coming.
God, oh, God. This is uncomfortable.
Enjoy the fucking whiskey, and we'll give you a drunk stamp on the way out, man. Enjoy the rest of the night. Peace. All right, excuse me. You heard it from Mike Hands. Right on, man. Right on. All right, let's take it over to French Toast. French Toast, what do you have for us tonight? What's on your mind, man? What do you want to bring up for everybody?
I had two things I actually wanted to talk about. I'm not here
Sure.
to troll or chill. I actually have serious things, but
Wow,
so Michael,
that's different.
Michael, you talked about Pitney Bowes. I actually have a couple shares, and they ran up on earnings. But what I actually want to talk about was when I came on here in like April. I talked about having American Virtual Cloud Technologies, which was another company that went bankrupt this year. Their ticker symbol is still on TradingView. It's AVCTQ. And because I know, Salvatore, you were talking about how you don't know, I don't know if you actually don't actually know any companies that their shares got canceled and they're still on TradingView, but on AVCTQ's court documents, they say that holders of equity will receive no distribution and all equity interests will be canceled. But what I wanted to ask was, because on that document it said that they're going to keep one share for post-effective date for, sorry, I have it up, I'm trying to look at it. But they ended up keeping one share that still exists for somebody. I don't know if there's anything like that for Bed Bath & Beyond. The plan administrator shall be deemed to hold one common share of stock in the post-effective date debtor.
I mean,
for
that's the same
ABCT.
that Lehman Brothers did as well. That everyone that has shares has like a percentage of that one share. Something, you know.
Oh, they did the same thing?
What?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Does that ticker symbol still exist or no?
I mean, it's still in chapter 11, or chapter 7. I mean, still, they can't close their position. The shorts can't close their position all the way. They have to keep at least $2.50 per share of the original shares in their account until it's done. So there's been people that have had, I mean, they could close out part of it, but they had to keep, at least $2.50 per
Our share. We all take part in the same share.
Last however 10 or 15 years. So
Okay, well, anyways, American Virtual Cloud Technologies, all the shareholders got wiped out.
ACT back up on a trade. So let me send this link over to. All right. We appreciate having you here. Wish I could buy more. Right on, Mo Money. Glad to hear it, man. Again, there's other stocks out there, man, that you can put your hard-earned money. Blow it on fucking cocaine and hookers for all I care, man. It's your goddamn bonus. But you got to take a look at IEP's divvy, man. Just saying, he'll be here soon, and he can kind of cover it a little more with us. So let me go ahead and read here.
Utilize the nulls and carry over shareholder equity.
Knowles again. Which, as we said, don't fucking matter. Travis shows up.
It's good to see you tonight, Travis. We actually have some really good DD to get into next. I don't know, Michael, if you got that link there for it. But before we do that, we should probably pull up. My apologies, Michael. We should probably pull up his prior post to get your opinion, or I don't know if we need to pull it up again, but we had a post of yours that we had gone over, and I wanted to get your opinion on it tonight. Do you recall which one I'm talking about? You.
I had two today. I had the one about Deloitte.
Did. So the tax one. Yeah,
Okay.
the Deloitte tax. So do we need to pull it up again, or can you just give us your opinion on it?
I wasn't worried about the tax at all. I
Okay.
mean, ASC 740 is about they're going to deal with the income taxes of the business. I mean, that's very typical in an engagement letter and everything else. That's standard. My thing was the part that I had put that green little red bracket around about the 358 plus hours that they spent redacting documents for
Again, the obsession with the redactions.
confidentiality. It's absolutely absurd.
Yes.
It amounts to over $344,000 that was spent just to redact documents.
Yeah, that's necessary.
For confidentiality.
How many hours were redacted?
358.
I'm sorry, 358 hours were spent redacting information?
350.
It's almost like different companies and entities' information, financial and personal, might be in a lot of these court documents and therefore for public release need to be redacted for legal purposes. Wild.
8.7, I believe. I don't know the.
Wow.
I just stopped. I was like 358, and I didn't do the.
Holy shit.
Decimals. And then
that's almost as much as what they spent on doing in hours in terms of doing the merger and acquisition activities.
About half.
Yeah, it was. And here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
This is what drives me kind of nuts. Is like they're spending this much time, and a judge is signing off and approving that yes, we'll allow this to be paid because it needs to be paid.
Yes, lawyers are expensive.
You gotta start asking why. And I mean,
because bankruptcy for a giant corporation is expensive.
I think we know why. I think we figured out the answers. There's still room for error, and so there's still speculation here. But at the same time, I mean, what is worth over $250,000 to keep so secret?
Dude, I have no idea.
Personal information of companies and individuals involved in the company.
I've been talking about it all fucking night and all day on the Spaces calls, man. It doesn't make any sense. I mean, everything has been laid out in public, in terms of like where Dream on Me stands with Bye Bye Baby IP, where Bed Bath & Beyond and Overstock stand with that IP. So I really find it highly bizarre that there's so much like movements in terms of confidentiality. I mean, what in your opinion would be confidential that
none of you have any expertise? Why are you asking each other? None of you have any special information? What is the point of even asking each other?
Is not already public, because I feel like everything is already public knowledge. So it to be honest with you, it really makes no sense to me.
So there's two sides here. Mm-hmm. There's Bed Bath & Beyond side, and there's potential other party side. The other party side could, whoever it may be, whoever is in this, could be multitude of different parties. Maybe they want to keep stuff confidential. Hey, we can't say anything publicly until this deal is done, so everything has to be confidential.
Right. I don't care about their misunderstanding of the redactions.
Also, too. All right. This is from Fred Daff, all right, and beyond. He says, holy fuck, if this guy is on LinkedIn, if this guy on LinkedIn is the same from the docket, Jesus R. Cohen, Shill's gonna be working at Wendy's. All right, right on. Cool. Yeah, Wendy's fucks, man. All right, so the person that we have here, his name is Liu Calvin. So Calvin Liu. Maybe it's Liu, I think. Calvin Liu. And it says he was billed here for 132 hours. His rate was $220 an hour. The fee charge was $29,106. But it gets better, fellas. So let's go ahead and go to the next page here. All right, so this is Calvin Liu, Chief Strategy Officer in Eigenlayer. All right, so we have Chief Strategy Officer Eigenlayer.
Why would they be the same guy? If the first guy is a lawyer and this guy isn't a lawyer, why would it be the same guy even if they have the same name?
You fuck with Bed Bath Equity and you want to sell. Go ahead, Sal. Sorry to cut you off there.
Today and they pushed it. And
no
so
shit.
I thought that was kind of strange. And then he goes and deletes his account today because it wasn't today. I'm not going to speculate on what,
fan made this bullet crown.
They said. I'm just saying that it was kind of an interesting.
Wendy's is decent.
Ordeal that went down. But last time they addressed their Bed Bath & Beyond position directly.
Yeah.
They said they didn't know at the time. They were very vague about it. I think a quarter has passed. I think they can be a little bit more direct.
They said they expect volatility.
They did. They did expect volatility, and we didn't have that. So we'll have to wait and see. I am going to listen in. I don't think we'll get a lot of information.
Right.
I don't expect it, but
Wendy's is 1 trillion times better than McDonald's.
Do you think we'll get
like in terms of fast food burger quality, it probably goes like Burger King, White Castle, McDonald's, Wendy's, Culver's, Steak and Shake, Five Guys, this is not a complete list, but that's about where I'm at.
Some information. I see you, French Toast. I'm not a fraud. I'm a friend.
Why do you say Travis is a fraud? What the fuck?
Friend.
What the
And,
fuck,
and I
French
tuned
Toast?
in. I saw French Toast on right when I tuned into the show after practice, and I was like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, he's got Holly Etling on his wall. That's
And
dope.
there he is calling you a fraud in the chat. All right, Mike Hands with the 10. It's time to eat, but Sal, please remind everyone about our unwavering conviction. Go ahead, Sal.
Unwavering conviction. I mean, what more reminders do you need? The show every day is a fucking reminder.
Right on. All right, cool. You heard it from Sal.
There-
Ape
there-
Sheet. Yeah.
Go ahead. No, after you. Go ahead.
Ape Sheet with the 5. Earnings were released today. The call is tomorrow morning. The presentation is on their website. And also Lancer with the 2. IEP earnings also tomorrow. I'm especially excited for the IEP earnings because they announced they were doing a buyback, but they haven't officially done the buybacks.
Rallies is pretty good too. I don't normally think of Rallies, but Rallies is okay. It's about the same level as maybe a little below Wendy's.
So,
I think PP buys his own grift. I think at some point he did. I think at this point he maybe knows something's up, but he has a financial incentive to not have a revelation, so he won't.
The stock is hella low right now, so I'm looking forward to IEP personally. A lot of us are.
Pachulski.
Yeah. For the last couple days.
I'm just skipping through this last hour because they're just rambling.
What are your thoughts, man, heading into this Sunday specifically with the November 5th/6th date? Do you think we're going to see something kind of conclude this week finally? And what are your thoughts? Because Jake has been drawing up some very good conclusions here of why this will be this week. And I wanted to get your opinion on it.
Can we hold that thought and give me 30 seconds?
Yeah.
Harvey's isn't like a fast food place, though.
All right, I'll be right back. Give me 30 seconds. I'll show you my thought on that.
Okay, all right.
Like if we're talking sit-down restaurants, there are like much better burgers at local places you can get than any chain restaurant.
Sounds good.
Just
All
one
right.
second.
Perfect. All right. I feel like he's going to come back with something. I mean,
I like anywhere I can get a patty melt. I like patty melts better than burgers. Don't know why.
There's going to
I just like toast on the outside instead of a normal bun.
be something, I swear. What are your thoughts on it, Michael?
No, I mean, I think it made sense the 5th of November that if they were reissuing the stocks in the 10 days from
cheese curds from Culver's are great.
You know, it lines up to being the 5th, so we would see it on the 6th.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Carrington had put out a post that we didn't get to cover last night too, and there was so much tinfoil that we missed last night because of all these dockets, and there was like some high grade ass fucking tinfoil last night that we didn't get to cover. But yeah, you know, one of the things that Carrington had pointed out is that this Brandon Meadows puts in a $1 billion claim on the company. What's up with? Are you a
the 10 billion claim? You mean
professional hacker now or what, man?
It's a Guy Fawkes mask. He's wearing a Guy Fawkes mask. Remember the 5th of November. Okay.
Maybe.
Why the anonymous mask? I'm so.
It's a Guy Fawkes mask. Guy Fawkes, who tried to kill Parliament on the 5th of November in the past.
Confused.
It's the Guy Fawkes mask.
Okay, all right, I got it. All right, right on.
He absolutely has no idea who Guy Fawkes is. Like 110%. He said right on. He has no idea what the fuck that means.
Remember the 5th of November.
Yes, I guess you're right. Yeah. Yeah, Legendary RC's been backstage all night. He's been enjoying the show from backstage. Enjoy the VIP access there, Legendary RC. Give me your opinion on it, Travis, and then we have someone backstage we're going to bring in just a moment. What are your thoughts on it?
It's hard to breathe in this thing. I want to take
That's why Guy Fawkes didn't win.
it off, but I really like the way it looks.
It looks cool as fuck, but yeah.
I do like the idea of him wearing a mask of his own face for no reason and then being like, why are you wearing that? It'll make sense in retrospect. I know that's not how it happened. I just think it'd be funny if he had a mask of his own face.
It's too hard to breathe and
I don't know. I mean, we've had some tinfoil about the 25 hours to figure out 50 ways to say goodbye.
Yes.
The only day with 25 hours is, of course, the day with daylight savings time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, that's some tinfoil. I can get behind it. It's cool.
Yeah.
As far as I mentioned yesterday that it could be any time now because everything's just dropping, and that's the way you do things. You do it slowly,
Right.
and then all at once. It's kind of like falling asleep, falling in love, and I'll even say theta decay on options. It slowly comes down,
Mm-hmm.
and then the last few days it drops.
Overthought says the only way a man so nondescript that his name is Guy could be remembered is trying to blow up Parliament.
Drops suddenly.
Right.
Same thing. Oh, this mask does look cool, by the way. But no, I mean, if it was me, yeah, you're starting all your final billings. You get all the dockets in. You got everything ready to go. You have your lawyers on standby. You got your dockets and documents ready to be released in order sequentially. Just get it ready. Let's go.
Yeah.
Sure, do it over the weekend. I don't like working weekends, but they get paid a very, very nice premium to work weekends. So do it.
And then that ties in also with like UCopy's DD, where he said that we could even see an announcement on Sunday. So I mean, I think it can happen. But yeah, very interesting stuff. Love the fucking mask, Travis. Right on. All right, let's go ahead and bring.
Actually, the mask made me
skip to 3:30 for the gunpowder plot. Let's see.
Diplomacy is complicated. And power often gets distributed to a much wider base. This makes it infinitely more difficult to off an entire government at once. But luckily, the 1600s are a wonderful time full of such modern marvels as high explosives, and some enterprising lads wanted to make use of this new tech. So, let's set the scene. England has been ruled by Protestants for nearly a century, and they were making life increasingly suckish for the English Catholic holdouts. And since England's Anglican monarchs kept butting heads with
That's one of my favorite things in history, is just when literally the king changed the religion of the entire country so we could get divorced. I think that's emblematic of how stupid and petty human society is. Like, literally entire social shifts from one religion to another will happen because some asshole had a personal issue that he needed to solve.
Very Catholic Spain and getting excommunicated by the very Catholic Pope, adherence to the Church in Rome was treated on par with being an enemy of the state. This was an extremely complex mesh of religious and political factors that would require a delicate touch to overcome. Or blow up Parliament. No fuss, no persuasion checks, just an ass ton of explosives. That was the logic of these fine morons. Robert Catesby, Guy Fawkes, and 10 other Catholics conspiring to destroy the Protestant government of England under the new King James I. The scariest part of the story is that the plan might have worked if the conspirators shared more than 5 brain cells between them. For instance, Step 1 was renting an apartment next to the Palace of Westminster under the bulletproof alias of John Johnson, which must have made the landlord think, ah yes, Mr. John Johnson, he must have a respectable career of doing job at place. They then spent weeks hauling 36 full barrels of gunpowder into the apartment in advance of Parliament's reopening. But boomifying an entire government body was only part of the scheme, as they planned to start a revolt in the countryside and capture the king's Catholic daughter to install her as a puppet queen. And lastly, they'd sail over to Europe to get the Pope to support the new Catholic government and pretty please forgive us for all of the murder. So that was the idea, but Parliament was closed for most of the year because of plague, mood, and wouldn't reopen until November 5th. That left a lot of time for the conspirators to ruminate on the moral implications of terrorism. Not because murder was wrong or anything silly like that, but because they had some friends in Parliament. So despite strict orders not to send any warnings to anybody, one of the conspirators sent a, hey, maybe don't go to...
Oh, that was stupid. Hey, you're pretty cool. Maybe don't show up to school tomorrow. Oh my god. Ominously pumped up kicks plays in the background. Olive, you must think I'm a very strange person indeed.
Parliament note to his buddy. Now this alarm bell wrapped in a red flag had the easily foreseeable consequence of getting reported straight to the Chamberlain, who proceeded to search the entirety of Parliament on the night before the plot. Imagine their surprise to find a lone gentleman standing next to a pile of firewood and 36 barrels of gunpowder.
Womp womp.
In an otherwise empty apartment, a gentleman who insists that his name is John Johnson, esteemed doer of job at place. I'm sure Guy Fawkes was shocked the constable saw through his ironclad disguise. Fawkes was subsequently tortured into giving up the names of his co-conspirators who were busy up in the countryside failing to start their revolt. Unfortunately, their excess storage of gunpowder had gotten soaked, so these big brain boys laid it out to dry in front of a fire, which is just the most
Really?
apt visual metaphor for a plant blowing up in your face.
Olive, is it nice being a cat? Cats don't have history or society. Must be nice.
The crew was captured and executed, and for the next century in death, so he's disqualified. And
Well, that's interesting. Alright, let's finish up the goddamn pee-pee people so I can eat dinner.
Like, just visualize the coolest thing if on Sunday RC comes, like, hijacks all the TVs and is like
Your
Wall
lack
Street.
of metacognition is enviable, Orange Boy. Let me tell you.
You have been committing crimes for too long.
He's gonna hack into everything.
Yeah.
Just
I like the
broadcast. Yeah.
I just can't breathe in it.
Yeah.
Some epic monologue, just like Goldman Sachs, you specifically.
Yeah.
Remember.
It will just be like a docket that comes out. It'll just be like a filing, and then the whole fucking internet breaks. Is probably how it'll happen. All right, let's go ahead and bring in a regular onto the show, man. Chat, please give a warm welcome to ABC.
Oh god damn it, ABC. We're gonna get some soda speaks. What about Bob? Thank you for 31 months.
ABC, how you doing tonight, man?
Hey guys, how are you?
Good, man. It's great to see you. I didn't know if you were gonna be showing up tonight or not, but it's great to have you tonight.
Yeah, a little bit late. Sorry about that, but
Right on.
yeah, I'm here, man.
Cool. So we've covered some of the Deloitte stuff tonight, tax billing. We had just gone over a post where we quite literally listed out all of the people that had been paid. I'll read it back to you.
Sorry, H-Beard. H-Beard said, technically it was so he could get an annulment, not a divorce, to the point that King Edward had to abdicate the throne so he could marry Wallace Simpson since she was divorced.
One more time. I don't know if you caught any of it. Kroll admin got paid. Kirkland Ellis, A&G, Deloitte, Jones Lang, Lazard, Cole.
I do want to point out the racist outfit he was wearing. He's dressed as Zoltar from the movie Big, which itself is sort of a weird, racist, exoticized depiction of a fortune teller.
Shots, and then I think
So I'm not, like, taking away responsibility, but he's also a boomer that probably genuinely doesn't understand what he's doing.
Still have Pachulski to come as well, and maybe a few others. I'm not too sure. What are your thoughts, ABC, with kind of what's happening here? You know, a lot of these people are getting paid. We had a crazy docket rocket last fucking night, man. A shitload of dockets dropping left and right. We've analyzed some of the Kirkland Ellis stuff with confidentiality. Travis wanted to point out that there have been over 300 and what was the exact number? 300 and what redacted?
358 hours.
358 hours spent redacting information from these dockets. What are your thoughts, ABC? I mean, this is fucking crazy, man. For a public bankruptcy like this, where we quite literally have the information of where the IPs got sold and this and that. What's up with the redaction of 354 hours? Is that what you said?
358.
358. My
358.
apologies.
Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, you got.
What do you think, man?
A company, this iconic brand, was obviously having troubles. COVID hit. It never really resurrected from that. The shorts came in, piled in on it. Mark Triton obviously did his damage. It was under attack. It was literally under attack.
Nope, just a bad company.
And so an activist investor wrote a
And the stock buybacks were a terrible idea.
letter to the board, came in, and unfortunately, they're not going to show their moves in advance. So 385 hours or 358 hours of redacting forms is simply a representation of that investors behind the play, because if there was nothing to do in terms of a restructuring or a merger acquisition, we wouldn't see all these numbers in the redaction or the merger. I think, what was it, 1,000 something hours now in merger and acquisition?
It was 642 or something.
But that was only one
Yeah.
Was there 1,000 hours of MA?
I think
There
we're
had to
over
be more.
1,000 now.
Yeah.
Because I thought unless I'm just looking at one portion. So I was looking at docket 2652, page 3, merger and acquisition activity 652. But there's other hours on here billed, but I don't think this is entirely pertains to all MA activity.
It's right here, honey.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure it's well over 1,000.
Okay.
You've got 358 hours just in redacting a lot of that.
Yes.
To me, that represents.
Apparently, he thinks these treats stink too. Oh, those smell so fucking bad.
You know, somebody's behind. Obviously, want to keep things secret. You know, and if the company was primarily attacked, and we know that there was a lot of synthetic and a lot of naked shorting out there, and if they did get the burden of proof and have the Department of Justice involved, absolutely they're going to redact a lot of information, especially if criminal activity is involved.
There's no criminal activity as far as we know. Jesus Christ.
So that's why you're not getting a whole slew of the picture, because in a sense there's criminal investigations going on. I mean, naked synthetic shorts are illegal. Short selling is not illegal, but when you start creating billions of fake synthetic shorts,
you don't have any evidence of synthetic shorts,
and you attack a company, that's not fair to the company. So they get the protection on their bankruptcy, they bring in the Department of Justice, and they're going to redact a lot of these files in order to make sure that they have the point in case to move forward and restructure. And I believe that you're going.
A lot of cats in general don't like them. Yeah, I also noticed they're like really expired. I gotta throw these out. Like, even if they did like them, he might not have liked them because these are like very out of date.
Going to see something good come out of this. That's you know, the redacting aspect is, I don't think, surprising at all. You know, I think it's in the best interest, and that's why Chapter 11 is different from Chapter 7. Chapter 7, you liquidate. Everything's transparent because they need to show the numbers. In a restructuring under Chapter 11, you're damn right you want to keep some stuff.
God, ABC's so dumb. I hate ABC because he uses his age to act like he's wise, when in reality this is the first stock he's ever bought in his life, and he put his retirement fund into it because his kid told him about it. Not the best decision maker, methinks. Mr. Whiskers says naked synthetic shorts sounds like a good time, ooh-woo.
Competitively secret, especially if you're coming out with a new product or a new store or a new business model. You damn well want to hide your cards until you launch.
But a lot of this information is already publicly available to us, so it's like, what at this point are they redacting, unless it has to be either it's Ryan Cohen or it's a credit bid or it's a debt for equity swap. Something has to be big enough to be
or it's a bunch of small redactions of personal information and financial information, addresses, phone numbers of people who are listed in the documents.
Not publicly disclosed and under a confidential.
Like, there are private companies involved in buying the assets. Those private companies can have their information shielded. They're not public companies.
Confidentiality agreement or an NDA. So,
going investigation, and who knows, maybe they had to recall the shares in order to sort out that whole.
No shares are recalled; they were canceled.
It's the villain type of marketing or approach, you know. But really, it's opposite in a sense, and that's really why I hope that, you know, Carl does come to the table. I think RC will be an arm's length distance. I think he'll do a transaction on the side with another company, possibly like Dream on Me, or through IEP, something at a later end arm's.
Ryan Cohen left. He doesn't give a shit about this. He doesn't give a shit about you.
Distance, just to create.
Yeah, I've been following it pretty closely, like IEP and also.
If it was me, I would definitely do something over the weekend, but you know, I'm not going to sit here and try to hype this weekend and get everybody's hopes up. And
would be class 9, so to speak. So that's really where the question.
So to speak, you motherfucker.
Final house cleaning. You don't submit all your administrative billings at the end like that. Unless it's payout time. And once bondholders have been made whole and they agreed to 0 to 2.5%, which is rather strange in itself.
It's not strange. That's the best they could do, and you're under them, so you're getting nothing, which is why your shares were canceled.
why the bondholders agreed to that payout.
They agreed to that because it was the best offer available.
You're in a position now where the next in class would be class 9, so to speak. So
yes, but the same agreement that gave them 2% maximum wiped out your shares. That's why they're canceled and deleted, because they don't exist anymore.
That's really where the question remains is, are equity holders going to be carried forth?
No.
And the real kind of synopsis to do is, well, what's important when you carry shareholders forth? One, there's intrinsic value of, investors that hold your stock right through bankruptcy, right through.
You're not valuable.
Through OTCs, through reverse splits and death spirals and everything. That really gives you kind of a good idea that these people are pretty loyal to your brand and to your.
No one gives a shit. That's not how stocks work.
Your name, so you might want to take them along for a ride, both as a customer.
The only person who took you for a ride is Ryan Cohen. Logart says the real question is how much has this dude had to drink?
Who will spend money in your business, and as a shareholder, who will probably end up holding for the long run. And then there's the other side of it too. These through
dockets that came through, and a lot of this stuff has been filed. A lot of these people have been paid, so we are coming to a conclusion at this point, man. So I did miss a tip here, Ozzy with the 3. PP, what calls you playing on IEP? Help a DGen out.
Don't care about
the leaps I bought were the funds company.
Okay. I'm very over the PP show. I've reached my limit. For today. I am simultaneously annoyed and very sad for them, and it's weird. Oh, Michael went on Spaces with someone who formerly worked for the SEC, I think, and asked about meme stocks, and here's how it went.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing, it's hard for me. I appreciate that these are all great points. I don't
less. And even if they keep passing the buck, well, then at least if they had to pay back the same amount later, by the time they pay it back a year, 2 years, or 3 years later, if they keep kicking the can, inflation has made that debt that they have to pay back less.
Well, yeah, I mean, the thing, it's hard for me. I appreciate that these are all great points. I don't think anyone should ever invest in a meme stock. Josh, do you agree with me? Because there's all kinds of problems. You can make allegations like that based on the data that you see and sort of conclude that there's chicanery going on or there's profiteering going on that's even more egregious than whatever traditional profiteering is going on. But I just think you should stay away from all this stuff.
Well, consider something a meme stock, right? Because if you actually look at the classical way that you would evaluate a company, companies like Apple or Nvidia are very inflated, right? Whereas you have a company,
they are profitable and have a business model that functions, and a lot of people like their product.
Where back all in 2014, Mark Vaden said the mother-baby market is a really great market. And then you have a company like Bed Bath & Beyond who has a subsidiary called BBBYQ, which is, kind of the go-to place. And they have intellectual property as far as patents for registries, baby registries, and wedding registries.
Okay.
And so to be able to pick that up for pennies on the dollar, doesn't that seem like a good idea, especially if you can...
Someone did. And again, you're overvaluing the brand by a lot.
Add in a robust e-commerce solution, right?
Yeah,
so,
if you're looking at the details and fundamentals of a company and making your decision like that, and Bye Bye Baby is a funny example because when our kids were little, my wife used to call it Bye Bye Money. So I get it. But I think, so if you're doing a traditional analysis of a company and not doing it based on someone who's just chasing a stock on social media, and it's difficult to identify the difference between the two. Josh, what do you think? You're probably much better qualified to answer that question than I am.
Yeah, so we've been trying to sort this out in the academic literature. I think he's questioned on what defines a meme stock. There are retail popular stocks, that retail investors want to invest in for fundamental reasons. We believe, let's just say NVIDIA, ChatGPT, something we're all familiar with now, and NVIDIA makes, a product that closely aligns with AI. investing in Nvidia is different than what we saw where GameStop's market cap went from 5 billion to 22 billion in 2 days, and there was no change in the underlying business model. That was a gamma squeeze where retail investors got together, coordinated, which we didn't think was possible before social media, and that buying pressure squeezed out the short sellers and those selling options on the stock, such that it put upward price pressure where there was no change in the fundamental underlying business. There wasn't they didn't pivot to a different business. They didn't have some contract that came in. So academia is trying to identify what is a meme stock. I think the simplest definition is a stock whose price is deviated pretty substantially from its fundamental value or even potential value, and it's popular with retail investors. I think that's probably the simplest definition.
I think that's too broad. I would further define it with some sort of quality of cult-like adherence to in-group mythologies. High control group communities surrounding them. Probably how I put it.
So I think that's
because something like Tesla, I'd argue, was incredibly overvalued for the reasons that the Josh guy said, but I wouldn't necessarily call it a meme stock. Not quite, at least. I would say it's an overvalued stock, a lot of which is based upon retail enthusiasm for the brand amongst certain people, but I wouldn't call it a meme stock.
A good
That's just me, though. It's subjective.
Point. And for me, within the communities I frequent, it is people are allured by the idea of a short squeeze, but I think there is something to be said about deep value, right? And it seems kind of obvious, like
with any luck, Tesla one day a meme stock. Oh, it's still way overvalued. I hate Elon Musk and his goddamn companies more than you will ever know.
One thing they always say about financial advice is past performance isn't predictive of future performance.
Literally, if someone right now said you can either guarantee that Elon Musk will be found guilty of crimes he's committed or Trump, I would pick Musk.
Right? And that's exactly, you look at some...
To be clear, I think they've both done illegal things worthy of conviction, in my opinion. I'm just saying, if I had to pick one to for sure face consequences for their alleged illegality, Elon would be my pick, is all I'm saying.
Like Ryan Cohen. And I think that he had the idea for Bye Bye Baby back in 2014 when Mark Vaden said that it was a gold mine of a market, right? But they noticed at that time that PetSmart was having a hard time keeping up with the e-commerce world. And so they filled that market first with Chewy, right? And there was...
Chewy was never profitable. Under Ryan Cohen, Chewy never once was profitable. He literally made money like Michael Scott in The Office for Michael Scott's paper company. He sold a $10 bag of dog food for $8 and lost money on every product sold. The only reason he made money on that was because he undercut the competition so much that it was affecting the bottom lines of PetSmart, so they had no choice but to buy him out to stop their bleeding. This is so common. This is happening all over the place and has been with the gig economy for over a decade. For 2 decades, there's been this constant push of investor money being used as collateral to just absolutely burn, to undercut competition, kill everyone else who's already been in the space, and then as soon as you're the only one left, then you crank everything up. You see this with streaming services now. Streaming services have run at a loss for years. All of a sudden, now that interest rates have raised and the economic situation and tone of the conversation about the economy has shifted, streaming services are all like, okay, all of a sudden, no more password sharing, and we gotta double the price for everyone, because it's not profitable and hasn't been. We've just been blowing through money to kill cable and to try and get market share. Now we need to make money, because that's the fundamental reason to have a business in the first place. This is all so stupid. Airbnb, same thing happened. Oh, it's cheaper than hotels. 10 years later, no it's not, and now it's way worse, and all sorts of stupid bullshit, and lacking regulation. Uber used to be cheaper than taxis. Now it's not, and there's all sorts of issues on top of that. Just the constant shift of employee-based businesses to contractor-based businesses has been one of the biggest blows to labor in this country in the last century. And it just constantly is happening around us, and I don't see nearly enough people talking about it.
There's a market for e-commerce, that there was this inefficiency in the market and that he was able to fill it. Well, now you look at something like the gaming world, which we know is expanding, and you look at like Twitch and Kick, and it's a total addressable market of like $200 billion.
Fuck Kick.
And when you think about what platform someone would go to, when GameStop finally has their streaming service, it will probably take at least half of that total addressable market.
Absolutely not. No, it won't.
And so at that point...
Like, what are you basing that on? On what world do you think that they're going to steal half of the users of Twitch?
In the future, we'll look back and say, well, it was obvious that was a good choice. But in the...
GameStop is working on a game launcher that's also supposed to have built-in streaming functionality, I think. I think that's what he's referring to. It's a stupid idea.
moment, you know, if someone is...
Instead of trying to do one business well, let's try to become disruptors in two businesses at once.
Using the past...
That already aren't super profitable unless you're Steam.
To dictate the future and say, oh, are just these little retail stores that are selling Xboxes, is that going to be this huge company? It seems kind of unrealistic. But when you think about, like, the actual vision, right, which usually they write it in their letter to the board, and when those letters aren't even taken seriously or factored into the account, right, it seems kind of odd that people would pick and choose what visions they look at as being viable and which ones they don't.
Well, that's a call we all make. It's the difference between making a reasonable, informed guess based on current factors and trends, and just making up mythology that has no grounding in reality. I'm not going to lie, there's certainly a lot of subjectivity there, and where you draw that line in the gray area is large. Investing is gambling. That's what this is. People are making guesses, and narratives are certainly a part of that. But there is a difference. There are gray areas, a large gray area. Bed Bath & Beyond isn't even close to this gray area, and neither is GME, in my opinion. Like, these are way on the end of, like, not even close to reflecting reality.
Yeah, you know, again, I sort of go back, Josh, to when the first meme stock was probably iOmega, which was an external hard drive in the early 90s. And that stock went there were these iOmegans who were completely devoted to them. And I had an iOmega external hard drive because at the time, you know, there was no such, you couldn't get, like, it was actually only a gigabyte, but that was amazing that I had that. So I get it. I think we're getting into a discussion now of, because when you talk about market share, potential market share, you know, it depends on your theory of investing, on how you approach whatever analytical model you use, whether it's based on the data.
Have you considered that Michael uses vibes?
Of the stock's movements, or whether it's based on the fundamentals of the company, whether you believe in the vision, whether you believe in management, whether it's just the lesson that I would give to everyone is that you should really just do your homework when you invest, talk to people you trust, and don't listen to anyone on social media. Even if you think they're worth something, make sure that you've really researched them as well. You know, I think it's important to talk to, like, treat your investments like you would picking a doctor for heart surgery. You know, that's how I would do it. And I think that I've been told, hey, that's an ancient way. Okay, boomer, stop thinking that way, because that's not what young people want. But I do think that's the safest way, and maybe my age sort of gives that away. But at this point, you know, I think we've been in this space for about, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 or 5 hours or something.
Real quick, yeah, actually, I'm a medical doctor, by the way, which is kind of...
You have a medical degree. You've not done residency, to be clear. Fenekigami says, Kick is going to be the first streaming service to die once regulators start actually paying attention to streaming. Their lack of moderation and the illegal gambling will decimate them. I hope so. Kick is awful. Like, there are problems with Twitch and YouTube, for sure. I'm not, you know, gonna lie to you about that. But I would never, and I'm disgusted by anyone who takes part in Kick. It's a platform that exists off the back of teaching children to become gambling addicts, and if you're okay, your stream being subsidized by gambling addiction, go fuck yourself. Logarth says Hannah stares into the camera, Jim Halpert style. That's always been a problem I have, is mugging to the camera. I do that when no one else is around. It's just a thing I do. It's unfortunate.
Funny that you bring up that example.
Well, making sure we're going to wrap it up, Doc.
Okay.
But, I'm
Yeah.
so glad you're on the space because that side of trading, the psychology of it, must really fascinate you exponentially.
It does, and I realize people look at different things. And for me, I look at like, what does the price say about, like the price movement say about the thesis of the stock? And I wasn't in GameStop at the time, right? And
oh shit, did that happen on Kick? Oh my god, it did. I remember that. Holy fuck. I guess I didn't connect that to Kick. I just remember it happening. Fuck. That platform's dog shit.
But, the thesis of the price movement was that it was going to bankruptcy. And so we can actually definitively see now that they're basically a cash flow neutral company, even though they haven't yet realized the ultimate.
That implication is that the market will remain the same for GameStop's products, and I don't agree. Like, the market share of physical games is only going down and down and down and down and down. There'll probably be there's going to be a used game market. Like, there's a place I go to that sells used DVDs and movies and old video games, retro games all the way from the, Atari 2600 to brand new games. It's like a locally owned place. So I'm sure there'll be regional and local stores that are able to exist, but I don't think a giant chain like GameStop selling used games is going to be able to exist in like 20 years. And I'm being generous with 20 years, if I'm being honest. They'd be better served probably going into retro games as a whole. Again, I'm not trying to save GameStop. I don't care either way. I think they're probably just not a viable business model in the first place. But if they're gonna, they might as well just go into retro gaming and start selling retro systems and old games too. I don't know. Just feels like focusing on modern systems is a bad call considering most modern games are bought digitally.
Division, right?
And eBay, yeah.
That they actually already debunked that.
Have you heard of the Curve Wars? No.
Narrative, right? And so yes, there was some things that happened in the market, but that you can say, oh, it's a gamma ramp and it's this, but the fact is it probably was shorted more than 100%, right? And so I just think that we should be careful about classifying things as meme stocks. And I would love to be part of that for free. I'd volunteer however much time to go to the SEC and talk to you guys more.
Yeah, Michael, I'm sure they want you to go to the SEC and talk out of your ass about things you don't understand. That's worth everyone's time.
All right, well, look, your perspective is worth a lot, and same with Josh's. So I think we're lucky to have both of you. Josh, especially, I want to thank you because you didn't sign up for this when you logged in on your Sunday afternoon. But having someone like you has been amazing.
Okay, I'll look it up.
I hate Twitch are lucky to have you as well. So thanks for participating. And I do these spaces every once in a while, just when I feel like it, and then
That's why so many apes are hooked on the idea of Web3 crypto games. Yeah, I talk to this person on Twitter every now and then, and they're always upset that I, compare GME to Bed Bath & Beyond, even though one is the progenitor of the other, so obviously they're going to be compared and they're very similar, but whatever. And they always bring up, I'm like, okay, physical game markets are shrinking. What's the future of Bed Bath or future of GameStop? And they'll bring up this game launcher and Web3 gaming, and every time I'll be like, people hate NFTs. People hate crypto. Gamers hate crypto and NFTs on the whole. And he'll be like, citation? Has he ever talked to any groups of gaming people? Like, whenever Ubisoft or any gaming company has tried to push Web3, NFT, crypto bullshit, communities lose their mind because it's stupid and terrible. But that's whatever. Oh boy, James. Oh boy. Let it go, dude. Let it go. Logarth says, hey Hannah, speaking of dumb crypto bros, check this one out. People at a Hong Kong CryptoCon had vision loss due to intensity of the stage lighting. Oh no! I don't like crypto people, but this isn't great. 3 a.m. woke up, eyes burning. I could barely open them. Getting a few pings on eye issues from ape friends that were up close with us front stage at Ape Fest Hong Kong. Quick thread. Oh no. Oh no. That's not good. Trying to see if there's anything I want to do as a cleanse before we go.
You look like the dad I never had.
You're fragile. My son is in...
That's actually pretty funny.
Brilliant. Councilwoman... Y'all really never learn, huh? Hey! Welcome to the team! Got a name yet? Knock him dead, Spidey! I was thinking... Spider-Man?
Oh. Am I a leftist? I am, yeah. I think I just spoiled myself. That's a shame.
You're in trouble.
Are you challenging me?
Oh, too late!
I heard Five Nights at Freddy's is terrible, which is a shame. Have I seen Amazing Digital Circus? Nope. That wasn't a spoiler. It was, but you must not have realized what what it showed, so that's good. I don't want you to be spoiled either. The lore is great, though. See, I don't... You know, for people who grew up with Five Nights at Freddy's and like the lore, I'm happy for you. I think the lore from Five Nights at Freddy's feels like the kind of shit a not very talented writer threw together over time without having a plan because there was a big fan base and they were putting out games every year. But that's me. Like, okay, so there's like a serial killer, but also not. There's like souls of kids, but also the animatronics are like evil. Whatever, man. I just want them to be spooky. What's with all this convoluted bullshit?
Man, I still can't get over that suit. So cool. Gotta be me. It's time for a Miles Morales original, you know? One of...
I like that suit.
One. It looks good.
Logarth says more like 6 storylines at Freddy's. Willy's Wonderland is the movie Five Nights at Freddy's should have been, like someone beat them to the punch and they nailed it. I think that was originally supposed to be a Five Nights at Freddy's movie, but they lost the license. But whatever.
Alright, lovers, it's the year 2000, happy new year and all that. Computers didn't...
Sorry, Fennikagami. Fennikagami said, Hannah, have you heard about the coalition of states that plan to determine their electoral votes based off of the country's popular vote? It's an effort to democratize the electoral college, and Michigan has been approached to join. I have heard about it. I think that's a great idea.
I'm not a stupid fucking idiot. I know it was just a pig, but for 50 seconds it felt really real. And when you think you're gonna get eaten and your first thought is, great, I don't have to go to work tomorrow. You're relieved you don't have to go to work because you thought you were gonna get eaten? What the fuck is this world? What have they done to us? What did they do to us?
Requiem. No, wait. No. Rick M. I remembered. Rick M. Oh, you said it anyway. I remembered before I read that. I remembered that I had gotten it wrong. So I'm getting better. Rick M. says, Palatial is reviewing Christian movies looking for help. Right up your alley. Okay. Alright, let's see who we're gonna raid. Because I have to pee and make food. And live life. You finished revisions on your first novella and it's going to be out soon? Oh, that's nice. Let me know. I'll give it a read when it's done. Love you too, Mr. Blast. Alright, have a good night, everyone. See you guys soon. Next stream will be a costume stream, so join the Discord if you want to vote on it. Have a great night, everyone. See you soon!